It turns out, Nick Fury's worries are unnecessary. When Nick Fury took Hill to Lin Yu grocery store, Thor is in the grocery store, squatting on the ground, crying bitterly while holding his Thor hammer. Barton stood aside, seemingly at a loss. And Lin Yu, standing beside Thor, comforted him softly. Don't be too sad. This hammer is not your loss. The world is so big, you can choose more and better weapons. What a harmonious and friendly scene. Nick Fury was stunned as soon as he entered the door. Hill is the same. I really can't believe what I saw in front of me. How can it be so weird? Hill looked at Barton, who was aside. However, Barton just spread his hands, saying that he also didn't understand. Originally, after Thor came to Lin Yu's grocery store, he was going to forcibly take away his hammer. And the attitude is not very friendly, seeing to do it. But, to Barton's surprise, Lin Yu's attitude is very kind. It simply subverted the limit of Barton's imagination. Not only took the hammer out of the initiative, but he didn't even care about Thor's call. Then. This is the scene now. Thor excitedly wanted to take his hammer, but found that he couldn't hold it at all. After a lot of effort, the hammer still didn't move. Thor collapsed. Holding the hammer left sad tears. At this time, Lin Yu's reaction once again made Barton feel extremely absurd. Lin Yu comforted Thor in harmony and kindness. Is this consultant Lin so good-tempered? Thor was clearly mad just now, but Lin Yu didn't care at all. At the moment, Lin Yu still stood quietly beside Thor, acting as a comforter. Lin Yu didn't care about the arrival of Nick Fury and Hill. He didn't even look at them, just intently comforting Thor. Under Lin Yu's enlightenment, Thor finally opened his heart. The last time I couldn't hold Mjolnir, it was because of my father Odin who was testing me, but even though I couldn't get Mjolnir at that time, I still knew that it was still waiting for me. But, this time, I can't feel it at all, as if it has really abandoned me. Thor hasn't been so sad for a long time. Even when he smashed Bifrost last time and he hadn't seen his girlfriend for a long time, Thor was not so sad. Mjolnir, in Thor's life, is even more important than his girlfriend. They have been with them for thousands of years. No matter what battles or sufferings are, they are all spent together. Thor couldn't think of why Mjolnir would give up on himself. Hill on the side, after seeing Thor's appearance, his mood began to fall. A man, for the sake of a hammer, could be sad like this. It's also a kind of love. Thor squatted on the ground, holding Mjolnir's hammer handle in both hands. But, obviously Mjolnir was motionless. It's like growing on the ground. These people around know the characteristics of Mjolnir. That is, if it is not for the person recognized by Mjolnir, it is absolutely impossible to pick it up. Obviously, Thor was abandoned by his hammer. At this time, Lin Yu patted Thor on the shoulder again and comforted. Brother, don't cry, or I recommend you a weapon that is more suitable for you. A real warrior like you shouldn't use a hammer like this. For the weapon, you should take a powerful axe that can reflect your identity. And your hammer is too small. After Lin Yu finished speaking, he cast a color on Wanda, who was not far behind. Wanda understood, and took an axe from the shelf. This axe was made by Lin Yu, who arranged for Wanda to find someone to build it. The shape of the axe is a bit like Thor's late weapon, Storm Axe, but the workmanship is not particularly good. It looks like a plastic toy mass-produced with molds. But the weight is not light, it weighs tens of kilograms. After all, it's all made of iron knots. Wanda picked it up very hard, even dragging it to Lin Yu's face on the ground. Lin Yu glanced at the axe, then glanced at the faint red light on Wanda's arm, and decisively did not pick up the axe in Wanda's hand. Sing, put it on the ground, Lin Yu said lightly. Boom. Wanda threw the axe on the ground. This voice also alarmed Thor, who was grieving. He turned his head in some doubt and looked at the axe that was thrown on the ground at random. There was a sudden light in his eyes. This axe has a very nice shape, but Thor still shook his head. Sadly said, although the shape of this axe is really good looking, I still want my Mjolnir. Lin Yu was taken aback for a moment. This Thor, why don't you follow the plot? It shouldn't be. Lin Yu turned his head and glanced at the beckoning cat who was still beckoning. A hint of doubt appeared in his eyes. It's impossible. Only a second-level lucky cat, can't it affect a powerful guy like Thor? But this guy, although his strength is very strong, his brain is no different from ordinary human beings. It's even much worse than smarter humans. Lin Yu's face suddenly became cloudy and uncertain. Nick Fury on the side also saw Lin Yu's appearance change, and his mood instantly became tense. Could it be that what Lin Yu was going to do to Thor? After knowing Lin Yu's true power, What he fears most now is to accidentally provoke Lin Yu. But Nick Fury was worried, but he didn't dare to do anything. And at the moment, Lin Yu suddenly stood up and turned around slowly. Slowly, he walked to the table at the door of the grocery store. Then, Lin Yu squinted, grabbed the lucky cat on the table and threw it on the ground. "Wanda, tear down this broken lucky cat and throw it into the trash can," Lin Yu said suddenly. This scene completely stunned the few people present. Lin Yu's behavior is completely incomprehensible. It does not make sense. Even if I get angry, I haven't seen anyone who gets angry with the lucky cat. Ding. The beckoning cat felt the anger in the owner's heart, and decided to work hard, increase his ability, and lure ability to increase by 3 times. The specially trained high-level agent can no longer get rid of the control of the beckoning cat. In Lin Yu's mind, a system prompt sounded suddenly. Really? The lucky cat has mutated again. And at the moment, the beckoning cat showed on its head that it had become a 3rd-level mutant. But Lin Yu still put his arms around his chest, coldly looking at the lucky cat on the ground. There was no expression of joy on his face. On the side, Wanda, although she was a little confused about why her brother wanted to throw away the lucky cat, but with so many people present, she couldn't doubt it, and could only slowly walk towards the lucky cat on the ground. It seems that in the next step Wanda will execute Lin Yu's order to crush the lucky cat. Sudden. In Lin Yu's mind, the system prompt sounded again. Ding. Your beckoning cat is scared, and decided to increase his strength until the owner is satisfied, so as to induce a 10-fold increase in ability. Even if he is a demigod, he will fall under its pomegranate skirt. Seeing that Wanda was about to step on the beckoning cat, Lin Yu suddenly reached out to stop it. Okay. I just frightened it, put it back. The whole grocery store. In other words, for all the mutants around Lin Yu, only the lucky cat is this virtue. If you don't frighten, it won't know that it takes the initiative to become stronger. Lin Yu knows it well. Therefore, there will be previous actions. But this scene, for Nick Fury and others, seems extremely strange. Let Lin Yu's image in their hearts become moody again. The more moody the person, the more terrifying. Nick Fury and Hill took 2 steps back gently. They have already arrived at the door of the grocery store, and as long as they turn their heads, they can immediately run out of this weird place. Although Nick Fury feels that he must have a good relationship with Lin Yu, but at least on the premise that he can save his life. As for Barton, who was standing on the other side, it seemed a little bit stupid. He has been in a daze ever since he entered this grocery store. Until now, it hasn't been relieved. The here is really weird. He seemed to feel that he understood Natasha Romanoff and Phil Coulson a little bit. Lin Yu feels that he is not a good person, he knew it very well. But there are 2 kinds of people Lin Yu still cares a lot. The first one is people like Wanda and Sharon who are regarded as family members. The second kind. This is Thor. It's the customer. Any customer, Lin Yu is willing to tolerate. After all, the customer is God. Lin Yu came to Thor again. Gently patted Thor on the shoulder. Then he said, "Look at this axe again, you can pick it up and try again, I promise you will love it." Hearing Lin Yu's words, Thor was a little reluctant, but once again looked at the axe on the ground that made him feel really good. This look. His eyes never left the axe again. And at the moment, just as Thor looked at the axe, the lucky cat that was just put on the table by Wanda, his eyes suddenly lit up with a faint red light. However, no one paid attention to it. In Thor's heart, he suddenly felt that his feelings for Mjolnir were slightly loosened. Lin Yu is right. Even if you don't want this axe, it won't hurt to pick it up and try it. In the eyes of everyone's attention, Thor stood up hesitation and came to the axe. He bent down and grabbed the handle of the axe. This axe, which feels heavy even when Wanda uses the power of Scarlet Witch, is like a toy in Thor's hand. Easy. Very handy. Thor even rounded a flower with the axe in his hand. Before, his weapon had always been Mjolnir, and Mjolnir was in his hands, as if there was no weight at all. In fact, the fight was really not easy, and now, holding this axe in his hand makes Thor feel very useful. It's weird. Why do I think other weapons are very useful? Thor frowned slightly. Puzzled. However, he kept playing with the axe in his hand. But Thor still found something that he couldn't accept. This axe is really handy, and the shape is very good, but the only drawback is that it does not allow me to control the power of thunder, Thor said sadly. Finally, I found a handy weapon. Unfortunately, it can't let its greatest ability play out. Lin Yu frowned slightly when he heard Thor's words. There are so many things for Thor. Lin Yu let out a long breath, then his face became solemn. With one hand resting on Thor's shoulder, he slowly said, "Have you ever thought that you are Thor, not the god of hammers? Your supernatural power does not come from that hammer, but yours itself." Hearing Lin Yu's words, Thor's expression was taken aback. As if there was a new road appeared in front of me. At this moment, Lin Yu continued, "Have you ever thought that the hammer restrains you and prevents you from becoming a real Thor? You have to feel the ubiquitous thunder with your heart, not with your hammer." Thor's heart lifted. He felt that Lin Yu's words seemed to be an initiation. "That's too right. I am Thor, not the god of hammers. That hammer is not the reason why he can summon lightning. I can control the lightning purely because I am Thor." Boom. Suddenly endless lightning flashed in the sky outside the grocery store. Dark clouds are condensing at a terrifying speed. The entire sky outside was completely dark, and in the grocery store. A terrifying thunder and lightning began to condense on Thor's body. Even his eyes glowed with bright silver. Lin Yu, frightened. Especially Meow, this guy is really metamorphosis. I just copied a few words from his father Odin. Unexpectedly, let him really attract thunder and lightning without using Mjolnir. Will his own grocery store be chopped into scum? Seeing the thunder and lightning in the sky, it must pass through the roof of the grocery store and fall directly on Thor's head. Lin Yu was shocked. He hurriedly bent down, grabbed Mjolnir, and threw it to Wanda. Go and lead the thunder and lightning elsewhere." Wanda took Mjolnir casually and was about to run out. At this moment, Sharon, who was a little closer to the door, suddenly said, "Quickly, give it to me, I'll go." Sharon has been standing quietly in the doorway ever since these people came. Sharon will go faster. At the moment, the thunder in the sky became more and more fierce. Wanda didn't hesitation either, and threw Mjolnir at Sharon directly. Sharon took Mjolnir easily and ran to the grocery store in an instant. She lifted Mjolnir. The thunder and lightning in the sky seemed to have found a new breakthrough and instantly went to Sharon. Boom, boom, boom. The endless thunder and lightning seemed to be infused into Sharon's body through Mjolnir. These lightnings have exceeded the upper limit that Mjolnir can store. For a time, Sharon's life was dead. Her body is just an ordinary person. Although because of long-term training, it is better than the average person. But the number of these lightning is too much. She couldn't resist even the slightest thunder and lightning. Not to mention such huge amounts of power of the thunder and lightning. The thunder and lightning summoned during the previous battle did not actually touch Sharon's body, and was controlled by Mjolnir. But now, a huge amount of power of the thunder and lightning, following Mjolnir's hammer handle, spread into Sharon's body in an instant. Nick Fury and Hill Agent, the closest to Sharon, were shocked. The last thing Nick Fury wants to see is that something happened to Sharon. Sharon is now the biggest link between Nick Fury and Lin Yu. If something happens to Sharon, the relationship between S.H.I.E.L.D. and Lin Yu will never be as good as before. And Lin Yu is very likely to run away, but faced with such a terrifying thunder and lightning, ordinary people like Nick Fury have no way at all. And at the moment, Lin Yu also showed a hint of horror on his face. He didn't expect it to be like this. Ding, Sharon's body has received Thunder's transformation and gradually adapted to this comfortable feeling. Awakening the thunder and lightning physique, it is easy to control the thunder and lightning. It is not an exaggeration to call it a female Thor. Ding. Miller noticed Sharon's powerful physique, and suddenly fell in love with this female Thor, and decided to follow the left and right, and never betrayed. The dark clouds in the sky suddenly disappeared gradually. A clear sky was exposed, and at the moment, on the ground, Sharon's body still flashed thunderously. Countless thunder and lightning swam everywhere on Sharon's body. Electric arcs rose in her body. But the things Nick Fury and Hill were worried about did not happen. Sharon still stood there still. Those thunder and lightning did not seem to have done any harm to Sharon at all. On the contrary, it was a bit like a little pet that had met his owner and was jumping happily. Sharon stretched out one of her hands, and a lightning bolt suddenly shot from her hand. Then, fell back to his hands again. The obedient is like a good baby. There was also a bright silver light in Sharon's eyes. It was almost exactly the same as Thor in the room. The only difference, it was Mjolnir who was in Sharon's hands, and there was also thunder and lightning jumping non-stop. But the axe in Thor's hand did not see any change at all. After all, it was just an iron bump, although it can conduct electricity. But at Kana T store lightning Nick Fury was stunned. Hill Agent covered his mouth with an incredible face. Barton's eyes widened, not knowing what to say. As for Thor, he has forgotten the joy of awakening Thor's power just now, and looked at the woman outside the door with shocked face. She is even able to control thunder and lightning. Could it be? Is she the daughter of her father who lived out many years ago? Could it be that it is your own younger sister or older sister? Otherwise, how could she control thunder and lightning? It is absolutely impossible for ordinary people on Earth to control the power of thunder and lightning. Thor was stunned, not knowing what to say for a moment. Immediately afterwards, the thunder and lightning on Thor and Sharon gradually dissipated. Sharon also took Mjolnir and walked in from outside. At this time, Nick Fury remembered something that made him feel extremely strange. Just now, Mjolnir seems to have passed the hands of 3 people in total. First Lin Yu picked it up easily and threw it to his sister Wanda, then Wanda threw it to Sharon again. In other words, in just a few seconds, all 3 of them picked up Mjolnir. And it looks pretty relaxed. But the original owner of Mjolnir, Thor, still couldn't pick it up. It's extremely weird. Nick Fury shook his head and pulled his thoughts back. In Lin Yu's grocery store, it seems that no matter what happens, it is normal. Even Sharon can control the thunder and lightning, and several people can pick up the hammer, which is not a shocking thing. At this moment, Thor finally spoke. He pointed to Mjolnir, who was held by Sharon, and said, "You Mjolnir." He didn't mean to come back now. Because, at the moment, he already felt that this woman must be his sister or younger sister. Therefore, it is not difficult for her to pick up Mjolnir. But, before he finished speaking, Lin Yu interrupted him. Lin Yu hurriedly pulled Thor and turned his attention away from Sharon. At this time, Lin Yu didn't want Thor to pay too much attention to Sharon and the Mjolnir in her hands. "How do you feel now?" Lin Yu asked with a smile. Thor's expression finally showed a smile for the first time after arriving at the grocery store. He has never felt so good. There seems to be endless power in the body. And he can feel that if he wants thunder, thunder will appear in his body instantly. As if he was the incarnation of thunder, Thor nodded and said, "Well, that's good, you were right. That hammer is just a time limit for my strength." Lin Yu chuckled. "It's done." But, without waiting for Lin Yu to say anything, Thor continued, "I have decided to return Mjolnir to my father. I will use this axe as my weapon in the future." Hearing this, Lin Yu was taken aback. "What the hell? You don't want this hammer, but you have to return the hammer to your father." Joke. Lin Yu's face immediately came down. But Lin Yu did not directly talk about Mjolnir. He just said earnestly, "Your decision is correct. This axe really fits your temperament." Lin Yu said as he took Thor's hand and walked to the shelf. Thor is a little unclear. How did Lin Yu pull himself to the shelf? "I'm not here to buy things." But Lin Yu thoughtfully pointed at a price tag on the shelf. Above, a number is written in Arabic numerals. The product name is also written on the top of the number. Storm Tomahawk, price, USD, Thor's expression suddenly froze. He looked at the price tag, and then at the axe in his hand. Weakly asked, "The name of this axe, isn't it called Storm Axe?" Lin Yu smiled and nodded, and said, "Well, this name is very domineering." Thor was completely stunned. Although that string of numbers, he has not yet figured out what it is. However, just by looking at the string of zeros at the back, you know that it is an astronomical number. Moreover, even if it was 10 yuan, he didn't have it. Not to mention that terrifying astronomical number. "Lin Yu, what does this mean? Is it possible that this axe asks for money?" Thor looked at Lin Yu incredulously. His eyes were full of doubts. "You mean, wouldn't it be, I still need to pay for this axe?" Thor said weakly. The expression on Lin Yu's face was exaggerated and surprised. Seemingly glanced at Su-er as if he was mentally retarded. Then he said in shock, "No, my brother, this is a grocery store, it's a store, how can I not ask for money? Is there no store there? Don't you go to Asgard's store to buy things without money? No money, how can we make money, how can we have the funds to buy?" Lin Yu said a lot with a face. Tell Thor directly. But he felt that what Lin Yu said really makes sense. Isn't the shop just to make money? Asgard also has shops. Although he is the prince of Asgard, he needs money to buy things. Thor points to the price tag, then counts it carefully. 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. 900 billion? Dollar. Thor surprised roar. He still doesn't quite understand how much so many dollars are. Thor was just surprised that roar was at the huge number. At this moment, Lin Yu patted Thor on the shoulder again as if he was a close friend, and said, "There is an old saying on our planet called, brothers make clear accounts. Although our relationship is very good, you still have to give money. Definitely, I also know that you may have no money, but you can borrow it, ask friends, relatives, sisters, you can borrow it. Speaking of borrowing money, Thor's eyes lit up. Among the people present at it is estimated that the richest person is Nick Fury, the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. He is a director after all, it should be very rich. Thor hurriedly turned his head and looked at Nick Fury. Nick Fury has been listening to the conversation between Lin Yu and Thor. He also heard clearly the amount of 900 billion. At this moment, seeing Thor turned his head to look at him, Nick Fury's head was about to explode. 900 billion? Even if the special cat sells S.H.I.E.L.D., it is not enough. Wrong. Selling several S.H.I.E.L.D., it is not enough. This Lin Yu, he doesn't want to sell it at all. In Nick Fury's mind, he thought a lot in an instant. He also guessed what Lin Yu meant. As the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the head of a generation of agents, he is still very smart. But there are some things that I know, but I can't tell them. Nick Fury shook his hand hurriedly, and then said, Thor, it's not that I don't help you. This price is too expensive. Among the people you know on Earth, Tony Stark is the richest, even Tony's worth tens of billions. And, Nick Fury said weakly again, the value of this thing is still two different things from whether you can spend so much money. After Nick Fury's introduction, Thor finally understood how expensive the axe in his hand was. He turned his head and looked at Lin Yu again with a bitter expression. But Lin Yu was unmoved. Moreover, he said lightly, this kind of precious weapon should be worth a little higher, right? Thor frowned and nodded slightly. It seems to say so, that's right. How can the things that I fancy is too cheap? Thor grasped the storm axe, hand tighter and tighter. His eyes looked firmly at Lin Yu. There is no fear at all. I really want this axe. Tell me what to do, I really don't have money. Thor asked the rascal directly. Lucky Cat is very powerful. However, it is difficult for a clever woman to cook without rice. The essence of the Lucky Cat is to bring money to the store. However, I didn't want to meet a guy who didn't have any money. But Lin Yu smiled. He didn't want Thor's money in the first place. Even if Thor borrowed 900 billion, he wouldn't sell it to him like this. Lin Yu's goal is always the Mjolnir who was caught by Sharon. Although Mjolnir now recognizes Sharon as the master. But for Lin Yu, that was not enough. Without Thor's active consent, this transaction would not be considered a success, and his behavior would be considered robbing. Thor is okay. Lin Yu can reason with him. Even if it doesn't make sense, wouldn't there be Wanda and Sharon? But Lin Yu still doesn't want to contact the legendary Odin who has the different strengths of level Godfather. After all, I don't care about what I do. When someone came to the door, he couldn't hold back his old face. Even if you can fight, you have to settle down on the crime of robbing others. If you can't beat it, it's probably even worse. Immediately afterwards, Lin Yu's face showed a trace of sadness. It seems that a sad decision has been made. Lin Yu patted Thor on the shoulder again, and then slowly said, actually, I am not such a heartless person. We have a good relationship. I don't want you to get the weapon you like. How about this? Lin Yu sighed, as if he was at a loss. You can use that unusable Mjolnir to exchange for this powerful storm axe, Lin Yu said slowly. Hearing this suggestion, Thor's face suddenly showed a hesitation look. Mjolnir, although it is his own hammer, but it is also the property of Asgard. If he personally traded Mjolnir, would his father agree? Thor still has some hesitation. Lin Yu suddenly reached out and stopped Thor from continuing. Then he picked up a very brightly colored cloak from the shelf and said to Thor, well, if you are willing to exchange it, then I will give you another treasure of the town in the store. After that, Lin Yu also pointed to the price tag on the cloak. As also a bunch of zero. Thor was taken aback for a moment. Immediately afterwards, a hint of surprise appeared on his face. He nodded and said, brother, I didn't see you wrong as expected. That's it. Thor also likes this cloak. It's more cool than the red cloak before. And judging from this price alone, it should be a good thing, not weaker than Stormax. Lin Yu smiled and put the cloak directly on Thor's shoulder. Subsequently, the two smiled at each other. It is more than words. On the side, Nick Fury, Hill and Barton were completely dumbfounded. This all works? What is this operation? Thor's matter was finally resolved. But the people present did not leave in a hurry. Because Wanda has already started to sell products to these people. You are the legendary Hawkeye Barton. Is your archery particularly accurate? Are you nervous when shooting arrows? Will your palms sweat? Or choose a pair of gloves? This is simply to prevent sweaty palms from causing bows and arrows to misfire. Artifact. Director Fury, you are a regular customer. We have recently put in some new eye masks, which are novel in style and comfortable in material. Would you like to pick one? This one. It should be the Hill Agent. I heard Sister Sharon tell you about you. Look here, we have the latest jewelry in our shop, with many styles. There will definitely be the one that suits you. Subsequently, several people enthusiastically picked up the goods in the grocery store. As for Lin Yu, he sat back in his gaming chair. Erlang's legs are cocked, lost in thought. Over the past 2 days, too much has happened. There are also many gains. I finally got my favorite weapon in the Marvel world. The only pity is that Marnier actually recognized Sharon as the master. I can't use it anymore. But Lin Yu is not too sorry. After all, Sharon is now his own. It is a good thing for her to use it and let her protect herself. And Wanda's strength is so strong. If Sharon is still an ordinary person, then she will definitely feel a little uncomfortable in her heart. If there is no Mjolnir, if the thunder and lightning physique is not awakening, then Sharon is still too weak. What? Wrong. The weakest seems to be myself. After these things, Lin Yu felt for the first time that he was indeed a little weak. Whenever you encounter any battle, you must hide behind. It is indeed a shame to need 2 women to protect. And there are many things I want to do, but there is no ability. For example. Another example. I just wanted to get the Storm Axe, but because I couldn't get it, I had to ask Wanda to help it. It is indeed a bit inconvenient for this kind of little things in life to be too weak. But this infinite mutation system in oneself, although it can make things around oneself mutate, but it won't let the host mutate. In other words, it is a bit difficult to improve one's strength through the system. So, in the Marvel world, what else can improve your strength? Iron Man's steel battlesuit is one. If Lin Yu wants, he will always find a way to get it. However, the steel battlesuit cannot be worn all the time. When not wearing it, it is an ordinary person. The serum injected by the Captain of the United States is also considered one. But the degree of becoming stronger is only average. If the Captain of the United States had not brought the protagonist halo, his actual strength would not be much stronger. And also Lin Yu suddenly thought of a stronger one. Lin Yu's eyes gradually lit up. At this moment, Lin Yu hurriedly stood up and came to Nick Fury, who was choosing the blindfold. Then he forcibly pulled Nick Fury aside, and said, Director Fury, are we friends? Nick Fury was overjoyed. With such a question, isn't it necessary to have good news? Although Nick Fury's thoughts were a bit seduced by the lucky cat, it was only limited to consumption in the grocery store. Other thoughts are still normal. Definitely count as a friend, Nick Fury said solemnly. He came here in a hurry just to prevent the breakdown of this friendship. As for buying blindfolds, it's just a matter of course. After seeing Lin Yu's true power, Nick Fury has already decided to do everything possible to have a good relationship with Lin Yu. At this moment, Lin Yu suddenly smiled and said, Actually, I have a small matter to trouble you. Hearing Lin Yu's words, Nick Fury was even more happy. This is what you want. Being able to help Lin Yu is definitely beneficial to the relationship between S.H.I.E.L.D. and Lin Yu. No trouble, just say anything you want, Nick Fury said proudly. He was already seated and ready. Even if Lin Yu puts forward something a little bit too much, he must find a way to satisfy the other party. Lin Yu casually waved his hand and said, It's not too big a matter. Don't you S.H.I.E.L.D. have some convenient conditions? I just want you to find someone for me. Who? Nick Fury asked hurriedly. Killian. A not-so-famous scientist, Lin Yu said lightly. Nick Fury and others eventually left Lin Yu's grocery store. But each of them bought the goods they like very much. When I left, there was a contented smile on his face. Definitely. The happiest thing is Thor. With a hammer, he changed 2 things he liked very much. A powerful and handy axe, and a gorgeous and windy cloak. It can be said to be a prophet, S.H.I.E.L.D. ground headquarters. Thor is saying his final goodbye to Avengers companions. At the moment, he is holding a storm battle axe, and wearing a golden cloak on his back. The shape is really weird. But Thor himself was very satisfied with these outfits. The Avengers who were seeing off around wanted to laugh, but they still held back. At this time of parting, if you really laughed, it would appear that the people of the earth are too rude. Everyone was holding back very hard. Loki was holding back very hard. At the moment, Loki has already put on special shackles made by S.H.I.E.L.D., and even his mouth has been put on something to prevent him from talking nonsense. Only, his eyes couldn't help but look at his old brother's cloak. Forget the axe. At least it looks decent without looking at the details. But this cloak is simply too exaggerated. There are golden sequins everywhere, and the sun can blind the dog's eyes of people around. It's so festive, If it weren't for Loki to be unable to speak now, he would definitely damage Thor to death. Finally, Thor said goodbye to everyone. Then, he twisted the small machine that specializes in controlling the word tesseract in his hand. The figure of Thor and Loki instantly turned into a stream of light and left the earth. After the two left, the remaining Avengers finally couldn't help laughing. It's really suffocated. Definitely. There is also no smile. That is Barton. Barton didn't seem to get everyone's laugh. Barton, what's the situation with Thor? Why did he go to Consultant Lynn's grocery store and his aesthetics changed when he came back? Banner asked first. He had to endure too hard just now and almost squeezed out Hulk. Barton was actually too sure what was going on. Why? Thor exchanged 2 of his broken hammers. Moreover, those 2 things look much better than his hammer. It should be because the previous aesthetic was too bad, but now I finally get the hang of it. Barton gently stroked his hair with his gloved hand, and said faintly. This answer confuses Banner. Got better? What is better? Tony also smiled and asked at this time. Barton, are you having a fever? Is it better? Tony leaned forward and rolled back with a smile. This makes Barton feel a little strange. I think it's the aesthetic problem of the 2 of you. Barton frowned and said weakly. His expression is serious. It's not like a joke. When Barton said this again, Banner and Tony seemed to notice something wrong. The smiles on their faces gradually disappeared. At this moment, Steve finally spoke. He also noticed that something was not quite right. Funny is funny, but this is what happened to my companion after all. Steve said, or, take Barton to see a psychiatrist. He used to be in the army and often encountered psychological problems caused by soldiers because of the repression of war. See a psychiatrist, it can be solved, but. Natasha Romanoff denied Steve's statement for the first time. She looked again at Barton, who was extremely serious, with a wry smile on her face. Forget it. The psychiatrist should not be able to cure his disease, it will be better after a while. Natasha Romanoff thoughtfully. She is very familiar with this experience. But, the current Natasha Romanoff has returned to normal. Before everyone asked why, she turned and left. It seems that there are some things I don't want to mention. Asgard. Royal Palace. Thor first escorted Loki to Asgard's prison. Then I went to the palace to meet my parents. But, when Thor's figure appeared in front of Odin and his mother Frigga. Odin and Frigga were stunned. In just 1 or 2 days, his son turned out to be like this. It's simply non-mainstream. That's nothing more than the rough axe in the hand. This cloak, I don't know it, I thought it was a costume. Do not. Even the clothes used to perform stage plays are not exaggerated by his cloak. The shiny golden yellow is too dazzling, it's like a joker. Frigga hurriedly won, grabbing Thor's arms, and asked worriedly. Thor, what's the situation with you? What are you wearing? Thor didn't hear the other meaning in his mother's words. He even turned around as if showing off. Then he said, Mother, how is it, does it look good? Frigga was stunned. I hurriedly touched Thor's forehead with his hand, wanting to see if he has a fever. However, obviously not. Frigga could only look at Odin, who was sitting on the throne with a look in her eyes for help. But Odin clearly had a trace of anger on his face at this time. Odin was really angry when he saw that his son was dressed so funny. As a crown prince, the successor of the future god king, how can he be so careless about his image? But this is nothing. Where is Mjolnir? As soon as Thor entered the door, Odin found that Thor was not holding his weapon in his hand. You know, Thor never throws Mjolnir around, that is his favorite weapon. At this moment, Odin didn't bother with the look in his queen's begging for help. He suddenly knocked the ground with the scepter in his hand. Boom. The majestic voice sounded in the empty hall. Thor also hurriedly put away the smile on his face. Because, he knows, when the ordinary father hits the ground with the eternal spear in his hand, it is the moment his father gets angry. For his father, Thor is also very scared. Thor, where's your weapon? Odin's voice was majestic. Thor hurriedly raised the Stormaxe in his hand, and then said, Father, isn't this my weapon? Its name is Stormaxe, and it's a piece. Boom. Before Thor could finish, Odin tapped the ground again. At this moment, even Frigga sensed Odin's anger. She took 2 steps back quickly. As Thor's mother, although she also loves her son very much, when Odin educates Thor, she generally does not come forward to stop him. Besides, Thor's appearance is indeed out of order. I'm talking about Mjolnir. It's not the rubbish in your hands. Odin became even more angry. In his tone, he was already a little impatient. But Thor obviously hasn't realized what happened to him. He raised the storm axe in his hand again, and then proudly said, "Father, I exchange this more suitable storm axe for Mjolnir. In the future, I will make the storm axe." His name spread throughout the 9 realms. Hearing Thor's words, Odin stood up directly from the throne. He really can't sit still. "You idiot. What did you say? Replace this rubbish with Mjolnir." The anger in Odin's eyes was gushing out. His youngest son, Loki, made trouble everywhere, and was unstable all day. And his eldest son is so stupid, there is no successor. Odin almost felt despair at this moment. Thor didn't care about the anger on his father's face. He explained again. "Father, it's not what you think. How could I suffer? I didn't just exchange for this storm axe, this cloak, but also for Mjolnir. I used a hammer and exchanged 2 pieces." Thor was eventually sent to Asgard's prison. It's next door to Thor. That gorgeous cloak was torn to pieces by angry Odin. Even the storm axe has become a pool of molten iron. Thor is distraught. But there is no way. The strength of Odin God King is not comparable to the current Thor. Definitely. Even if it is possible to play, so, will not make a move. Thor is reckless, but he is at least a dutiful son. Although Thor's mother, Frigga, couldn't bear Thor staying in jail and wanted to stop him, she couldn't stop rage as Odin. In Asgard prison. When he saw that his brother was locked up, Loki was so happy. This special cat is called sharing happiness and sorrow. In the past, what Thor said about sharing happiness and suffering was a lie. Subsequently, across the prison walls, Thor was attacked with vicious words for several hours. A few hours later, in a secret chamber of the Asgard palace, Odin stood quietly in front of the window, looking at the endless starry sky in the distance, seemingly worried. At this moment, the door of the chamber was knocked. "Come in," Odin said lightly. Immediately afterwards, the door was pushed open. What came in was a dark-skinned man wearing armor and a little star in his eyes. This person is the patron saint of Asgard, guard of Bifrost, Heimdall. Heimdall has a pair of eyes that can see every corner of the 9 realms, called Heimdall's eyes. These eyes can be said to be unique in the 9 realms. Quite powerful. And, more importantly, as the gatekeeper of Asgard, he is still the most trusted servant of the Odin King. It is precisely because of being trusted by the Odin God King, he was able to obtain such an important position. At the moment, when Heimdall came in behind him, Odin didn't turn around. He seems to be still thinking about what if. Heimdall was not in a hurry either. He vaguely knew what Odin was worried about. After a few minutes, Odin finally turned around slowly. He looked at his most trusted servant, and then asked, "Heimdall, what did you see in Midgard?" Midgard is actually the Earth. It's just that the other 9 countries in the universe all call Roar Earth Midgard. Also known as Midgard, in the middle of the 9 kingdoms. When Odin finally asked himself this question, Heimdall's face also showed a trace of solemnity. Odin's own eyes are also very powerful, and you can also see what is happening on Earth in Asgard. Only, compared to Heimdall, his eyes were not very clear. After all, there is a specialization in the art industry. Many things happened in other countries, Odin would ask Heimdall. And at the moment, Heimdall thought for a while, sorted out the fire of his own thoughts, and slowly said, "Since Chitauri invaded the Earth, I have been following Midgard. During this time, 3 unusual things have happened in Midgard, and these 3 things seem to be related to a human being. That human name is Lin Yu." Heimdall looked at Odin, and then continued. "The first thing Thor is that he suddenly lost control of Mjolnir. It seems that Mjolnir took the initiative to give up Thor, and even more strangely, Thor can't take it. The Mjolnir who got up was taken away by an ordinary earthling. This person is Lin Yu." The second thing happened in a grocery store. 2 women suddenly picked up Mjolnir easily, and one of the women actually had control after picking up Mjolnir. Radana's ability. These 2 women are Lin Yu's women. This grocery store is also the property of this earthling named Lin Yu. The last thing that scared me the most was that during this war, a terrifying existence suddenly appeared on the Earth. With the power of one person, he resisted the attack of the entire Chitauri, and the ability he used was a kind of green power. This kind of energy seems extremely evil. It can bring the decedent back to life, and it is under his control. Furthermore, I have seen that the way this horrible existence appears is also from that grocery store. Upon hearing Heimdall's report, Odin sighed deeply. Today, the 9 realms are not peaceful. Warnerheim is constantly fighting. Jom Heiden's giants of Jotunheim stared at him. And this kind of powerful and terrifying existence has appeared on the Earth that has always been relatively calm. It seems to herald that chaos in the 9 realms is approaching. "Do you know where that green guy comes from?" Odin asked lightly. He had observed that guy, but even with Odin's knowledge, he had never seen an existence using this kind of ability. The evil energy, even from a distance, can make Odin feel a deep fear. If this kind of energy really spreads in the 9 realms, it will definitely cause huge amounts of panic to the entire 9 realms. Odin also thought that after discovering that guy, he would go to Earth for a while. But Odin held back. Odin is no longer the Odin of the year. The king of Odin, who fought everywhere and was extremely powerful, has long since disappeared. Odin now only wants stability, and only wants the 9 realms to be stable. A long and stable life has made Odin's courage much smaller. Heimdall shook his head and said, I only saw that before that guy appeared, there seemed to be a green light flying out of Lin Yu's grocery store. That guy should also be related to this earthling, but he came from I haven't seen it anywhere, but I'd definitely not from the 9 realms. Heimdall observes this universe every day. However, even he has never seen such an evil force. Hearing the name Lin Yu again, Odin suddenly showed a hint of anger on his face. This earthling named Lin Yu is really a bit hateful. I don't know what method I used to turn my son into that way. He actually exchanged 2 pieces of rubbish for Mjolnir. This can almost be regarded as a clear grab. It's just that he was put on a code of trade. But after he did this, if he wanted to get back Mjolnir, he wouldn't make sense. This damn human being, I should make time to meet him on Earth, Odin said viciously. However, at this time, Odin's voice just fell off, and suddenly he felt something was wrong. The earth under his feet started to shake violently. Immediately afterwards, on the roof above the head, rocks began to fall off constantly. F*K, it's going to collapse. Odin looked dumbfounded. This palace has been standing in Asgard for hundreds of thousands of years and is extremely strong. Why did it suddenly collapse? I just said something angry, but I didn't do it. Odin and Heimdall hurriedly ran outside. But obviously, their running speed can't keep up with the speed of the collapse of the palace at all. After only a few seconds, the entire Odin palace was in ruins. Countless maids and guards were buried under the rubble. Even Odin and his queen Frigga were not spared. At the moment, on the earth, in the grocery store. Suddenly the system prompt sounded in Lin Yu's mind. Ding, Odin, the king of gods, was rude to the host. His palace couldn't stand it anymore, so he decided to bury this guy who didn't understand etiquette by himself. Hearing this system prompt, Lin Yu's face changed drastically. He even jumped up directly from the chair. What's going on? Odin? God King? Rude to yourself? Still buried by his own palace? Lin Yu's head was completely blinded. I tried my best to prevent Odin from making trouble for myself, but I didn't expect it to happen. Do evil. Lin Yu wanted to cry without tears. He didn't think that the collapse of a palace would kill Odin. This kind of garbage mutation is at best a level 1 mutation. Not to mention level 1, even if it is level 5, I am afraid it is useless to Odin. The biggest effect is probably to hit Odin in the face. Lin Yu hurriedly pulled out a few incense sticks from the shelf, and then came to the beckoning cat and bowed his respects. There is no offerings of Sancheng and Buddha at home, there is only such a lucky cat, and only one pays respect to the lucky cat. Beckoning cat, I do not treat you badly on weekdays. You must bless me and don't let Odin realize that I did it. After dozens of minutes, all those who were buried in the ruins of the Odin Palace were rescued. Fortunately, Asgard people are naturally strong. Therefore, this disaster is not causing deaths. Only a few maids were injured, definitely. The accident also caused everyone to become disgraced. Even Odin looked rather miserable. The hair is messy and the face is covered with stains. At the moment, Odin was holding the gun of eternity, standing in front of the ruins, full of anger. Beside him, the gray-headed palace guards bowed their heads and stood together quietly, not daring to breathe. Check. Give me a good investigation to see who caused the ghost. I dare to destroy my palace. Odin hit the ground fiercely with the eternal spear, roaring angrily. This is simply a great shame. And he felt that the collapse of the palace must be man-made. Asgard is not the earth. Every building here has been infused with supernatural power when it was built. In any case, it is impossible to collapse them. Moreover, this palace was left by the gods and kings of the past, so it was destroyed for no reason, and it was an insult to the gods and kings of the past. If after I die, I see the gods and kings of the past, how should I explain to them? Odin's face was blue. After an order was given, the entire Asgard was mobilized. Not letting go of any traces of cobweb horses, vowing to find out who ruined the Odin Palace. And at the moment, Lin Yu, the initiator of this incident, is leaning comfortably in his gaming chair, looking at the gains he has brought to him from this war. This time in New York, it can be said that Lin Yu has gained the most in history. Lin Yu counted one by one with his fingers. First, Sharon gained the lightning physique and almost became a female Thor, and coupled with the blessing of Mjolnir, it was even more terrifying. After that, there are also a lot of stronger or newly added mutants around him. Lucky Cat has grown to level 4, becoming more and more perverted. Your own computer is even more impressive, directly becoming a 5th order mutant, which can summon powerful beings to descend on the earth. And with Gul'dan following himself in the game world every day, don't be too aggressive. Also, after his system was promoted to level 4, the skill of negative mutation made Lin Yu feel more and more powerful. Even Odin can suffer. Although it does not seem to cause much damage to Odin, Lin Yu felt that as long as he worked hard to improve the system level, I am afraid that even Odin would not dare to have any crooked thoughts about himself. Otherwise, just the negative mutation around him is enough for him to drink a pot. Thinking of the system, there are a lot of plot points recently obtained. Open the system panel, Lin Yu secretly said in his heart. A panel radiating blue light reappeared in Lin Yu's line of sight. Host. Lin Yu system level. Level 4, 30 plot points are required to upgrade to the next level. After the system is upgraded to level 5, new functions and spatial mutations will be opened. Because the mutations generated by the system no longer simply affect creatures and objects, but can affect the space. Plot point. 13 points remaining appearance range of mutants. For any living and non-living substances that are connected with the host, the attribution of the mutants is not restricted. Negative mutation ability. Any life that speaks badly to the host or does it will be affected by negative mutation. The range of negative mutation and the probability of occurrence of each level of mutation are related to the system level, and the probability of positive mutation is the same. The next level will be promoted to any life that has evil thoughts on the host, and it will be affected by negative mutation. Probability of each level of variant. Probability of level 1 mutants, 40%. Probability of second order mutants, 30%. Probability of third order mutants, 20%. Probability of 4th order mutants, 10%. Appearance probability of 5th order mutants, 1%, can be triggered in extreme cases. Probability of 6th order variants, 0%. The biggest change in the system panel is that after this war, the plot point has become 13 points. It was 17 points short of the system being upgraded to level 5. For the 5-level system, Lin Yu is looking forward to it. First of all, after level 5, mutation will affect the space. Although I don't know what it looks like, it just sounds very strong. The second is the negative mutation ability, which is no longer limited to Lin Yu being scolded or beaten. As long as you think about Lin Yu, you will immediately taste the evil results. It's horrible. Just when Lin Yu was looking at the system changes, a phone call came in suddenly. Lin Yu answered the phone, and Nick Fury's voice came from inside. Counselor Lin, the person you asked us to find for you has basically determined his location. Nick Fury's tone was respectful. It's like respecting an elder. This makes Lin Yu feel a little unnatural. Don't use honorifics, we are not in a superior-subordinate relationship, and the age is not much different. Just feel free, Lin Yu said casually. Oh, yes, Consultant Lin, unexpectedly, your efficiency is quite high. Where is Killian? Lin Yu asked satisfied. The efficiency of S.H.I.E.L.D. is indeed very high. Lin Yu just arranged it for less than a day, and there was a result. Sure enough, it still works. On the phone, Nick Fury's voice came again. We used satellite monitoring and found that he often appeared at a dock. I will send the location to your mobile phone. Nick Fury's voice fell, and Lin Yu quickly received a location information on his mobile phone. But Nick Fury continued, should I find someone to bring him back? Helping others home. Nick Fury is now responsive to Lin Yu's request. Even if there is no request, take the initiative to help. Lin Yu thought for a while and said, forget it, I'll go find him by myself, don't you guys give me trouble. Lin Yu still refused Nick Fury's help. What he wanted was not Killian. It's his research. Although it is not very famous in the entire Marvel world, it is extremely abnormal. Extremis. Lin Yu is familiar with the Marvel plot and is naturally familiar with Extremis. Although the success rate after Extremis injection is very low, it is very powerful after success. The most important thing is that it can make people have terrible regeneration ability. Unless it is a single blow, it is difficult to kill a person who has been injected with Extremis. What Lin Yu wants is this feature of Extremis. Lin Yu knows exactly what he lacks most now. With an infinite mutation system, Lin Yu has no shortage of thugs at all. If he wants to kill anyone, just let the various mutants around him play. And myself, I just need to hide behind and watch the show. The only drawback is that his life-saving ability is too poor. In case of accidental injury, it would be embarrassing. However, with Extremis, this is completely made up for. So, Extremis, you must get it. Lin Yu smiled slightly and suddenly had an idea in his mind. It seems that I have to personally meet this genius scientist for a while. But, at this moment, Nick Fury's phone hasn't been hung up yet. He seems to have something to tell Lin Yu. Counselor Lin, that Nick Fury hesitation said hesitation. Say it directly. Lin Yu was not polite at all. Lin Yu felt a little strange. This Nick Fury, a person who seems to be very decisive in the movie, how to come in contact with himself, it feels a bit grind. Lin Yu doesn't know yet. Nick Fury has guessed why Gul'dan appeared. That's why the attitude towards Lin Yu is somewhat different. To other people, Nick Fury is still the decisive director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, I have a very good friend who has become the Minister of the World Security Council. After he heard about you, he wanted to see you very much. I don't know if you were free, Nick Fury said slowly. Because the directors of the World Security Council performed poorly in the Battle of New York, they had a major exchange of blood. Nick Fury took the opportunity to promote his old friend. That old friend, after hearing about the existence of Lin Yu as a consultant, wanted to meet Lin Yu. Nick Fury is not very willing to refuse, so I want to ask Lin Yu's opinion first. As long as Lin Yu agrees, it is easy to handle. If he disagrees, naturally he will not force it. But, hearing this, Lin Yu's expression was stunned. Then, weakly asked on the phone, "Your friend, is his name Pierce?" On the other side of the phone, Nick Fury was taken aback. "You even know who and what that friend of mine is?" Nick Fury said incredulously. About Pierce, even a few of his cronies in S.H.I.E.L.D. don't know it. He just took office, and Lin Yu already said Pierce's name. In Nick Fury's heart, he felt more and more about Lin Yu's horror. But, on the other side of the phone, Lin Yu's voice did not come again. It seems that after confirming Pierce's answer, Lin Yu suddenly became silent. Nick Fury asked cautiously again, "Counselor Lin, if you don't want to see me, I will help you push it away. He is probably just curious." Nick Fury thought, Lin Yu had any holiday with his old friend Pierce. I don't know why I stopped talking when I heard that it was Pierce. In the grocery store, Lin Yu held the phone in his hand with a strange expression. There is definitely no holiday. Lin Yu has never even seen the World Security Council minister named Pierce. Oh no, he should be called Pierce, the leader of Hydra. But, Lin Yu was very impressed with this guy. After all, in the Marvel world, Hydra is also a fairly well-known organization. Moreover, Pierce is also a big boss hidden in the S.H.I.E.L.D. system. Only, in the Marvel Universe movie, Pierce doesn't have many roles. But, for Pierce, Lin Yu did not take it lightly. A guy who can run an organization like Hydra will certainly not be too simple. Moreover, Lin Yu's individual strength has not yet improved. Lin Yu will definitely not take risks with his body. But, Pierce is definitely going to see you. After all, it is a major supporting role. Lin Yu still doesn't want to let go of the one plot point on him. It's okay to see it, I'm free anytime, Lin Yu said calmly. The identity of Pierce was not revealed to Nick Fury. It's not that Lin Yu doesn't want to help Nick Fury. But, at this time, even if he said it, Nick Fury would not believe it. Moreover, telling the identity of Pierce in advance is not good for Lin Yu. On the other side of the phone, Nick Fury's excited voice came. "Oh, that's great. Then should I ask him to see you at the grocery store, or do you make time for a visit to the S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters?" Nick Fury is very happy. This is the first time Pierce begged to do something by himself, and Nick Fury didn't want to mess up. But, Nick Fury is also very smart, giving all the decision-making power to Lin Yu. No matter when or where, Nick Fury will let Lin Yu decide. Then let him come to me, I'm basically in the grocery store during this time, Lin Yu said lightly. The current S.H.I.E.L.D. is estimated to be about to become the nest of Hydra. Lin Yu will not go there to meet a Hydra leader stupidly. Meeting in your own grocery store is the best decision. Now Lin Yu's grocery store is probably the safest place in the world. There are Wanda and Sharon on the side of force, and the tireless Lucky Cat on the weird side. Thor is here, and they are all clearly educated by Lin Yu, let alone just a Hydra leader. Nick Fury hurriedly said, "Okay, then I'll tell him in a moment." Immediately afterwards, Nick Fury said again, "By the way, what needs S.H.I.E.L.D. to come forward? Just say it, don't be polite." Well, I will find you if necessary." After hanging up Nick Fury's call, Lin Yu hurriedly pulled Sharon and Wanda out of the house. Don't worry about Pierce. Lin Yu now feels more and more that his strength needs to be improved. Otherwise, it may be difficult in this chaotic world. Although the system is indeed very powerful, however, living long is the kingly way. Otherwise, I can't even go to S.H.I.E.L.D. to meet a little Hydra leader. The door of Bumblebee opened automatically as soon as he left the house. Lin Yu took the lead to sit in the driver's seat. Then, the two women got into the car one after another. At the moment, the door was not closed yet, Erha suddenly got in from the door on Lin Yu's side. It was wagging its tail, as if to please Lin Yu. But Lin Yu is not one of those women with big breasts and no brains. He can't walk when he sees a cute pet dog. One kick kicked Erha down. Honestly, stay at home, who will look after the house after all gone out? Just when Lin Yu set off with the two women, heading to the location of the pier provided by Nick Fury. At the moment, in an abandoned warehouse at that pier, Killian, the scientist Lin Yu was looking for, seemed to be carrying out some strange experiment. Moreover, it is still a human experiment. The object of the experiment turned out to be myself. Killian, do you really want to inject yourself with extremis, which is not completely perfect? Beside Killian, a woman with brown hair asked worriedly. This woman is the supporting actress in the third Iron Man, Dr. Maya Hansen. She is a biologist and one of Killian's partners. Killian at the moment has taken off his shirt, his eyes are quite calm, and he doesn't seem to be nervous because of the upcoming extremis injection. I'm ready. Science experiments always involve sacrifices, don't they? Killian said with a smile. Maya Hansen obviously didn't want Killian to do this. She frowned and said again, actually, you don't need to worry. We can do animal experiments first. After the safety is completely guaranteed, it is not too late to do human experiments. Extremis has just been successfully studied. According to Maya Hansen's research, this virus has been determined to help humans evolve. However, it is very imperfect. If the body and extremis have a rejection reaction, the human body will instantly become hot until it explodes. Definitely. Even if integrate succeeds, it will not be done once and for all. Need to be injected every once in a while, to ensure the survival of the virus. It is a great risky behavior to inject directly into the body now. Therefore, Maya Hansen wanted to stop Killian injection. But Killian didn't know why, so he had to inject himself. Moreover, it was calm, not like a whim. Killian smiled slightly and said, it doesn't matter, isn't there you still? I believe you will make me integrate successful. Maya Hansen still wanted to persuade, but Killian had already raised his arm in front of Maya Hansen. Come on, if I can succeed, I will be the pioneer of human evolution. In his heart, he was already impatient. Since he was rejected by Tony Stark more than 10 years ago, and then committed suicide by jumping off the building without success, he has been living in the dark. It's like a ghost. He has had enough of such a life. He wants success, wants revenge. In the past 10 years, Killian has been paying attention to Tony Stark's movements in addition to studying extremis. As Tony Stark admitted that he was Iron Man, and until the Battle of New York, his steel battlesuit became stronger and stronger, Killian also felt a sense of urgency in his heart. He doesn't want to wait any longer. Wait any longer, Tony Stark's steel battlesuit technology will become stronger and stronger. Definitely. If you succeed, you can also use extremis to arm a terrifying team. Until then, I will control the whole world. No longer need to look at other people's faces, no longer need to live in the dark. Inject it. Killian was almost crazy inside. But his expression remained calm as before. He even gave Maya Hansen an encouraging look. But just as Maya Hansen plucked up the courage to inject extremis into Killian, there was a sudden roar from the car engine outside. It seems that a sports car came to the outside of this abandoned warehouse. Maya Hansen's hand stopped suddenly. Killian's face also showed a trace of confusion. This abandoned warehouse is their secret laboratory. Except for a few bodyguards and themselves, no one knows where it is. So high profile, who will come here in a sports car? Is it possible, is it Tony Stark? Killian has been following Tony Stark all these years, so he knows that he likes driving sports cars the most. There was a sudden shock in his heart. Does Tony know that he is ready to deal with him? Wrong. He could not know. I have always been so low-key and I have never done anything to him before. He has no strong strength. He would never know that he was here. He may not even know who he is. So, who is it? 7. Go out and see who it is, Killian said to the bodyguard in the room outside. Killian had several bodyguards under him, all veterans. And these people are their loyal supporters. In the future, Killian also plans to inject them with extremis. Under Killian's orders, a bald man, with two of his men, pushed the door from the outside room and walked out. There are many rooms in this warehouse. Killian and Maya Hansen's laboratory are in the innermost room. The outside room is where the bodyguards stay. Crack, the door of warehouse was pushed open. Several bodyguards, armed with guns, went out. Killian and Maya Hansen hurriedly hid the extremis sample in the laboratory. This extremis sample is very precious. It takes a long time for them to develop one. So, to be cautious, they first hid the extremis samples in the safe in the corner of the warehouse. Outside the warehouse, the bright yellow Camaro, a handsome and elegant man, stopped directly not far from the warehouse door. Sharon took the lead and got out of the car with a hammer. Then, Wanda in a red dress. Finally, Lin Yu is sitting in the main driver's seat. At this moment, the two women took 2 steps back slowly and came behind Lin Yu. One left and one right, like 2 bodyguards. Compared with the 3 sturdy men on the opposite side, these 2 female bodyguards are indeed very cool. Even the 3 bodyguards who just came out of the warehouse were slightly taken aback when they saw the combination of the 3. There seems to be some love, but they are still very cautious. Stop. What do you guys do? Killian's first thug, Siwon, drank coldly. The 3 men stood on the way of Lin Yu and others, staring at it. When Lin Yu got out of the car, he noticed the weapons in the hands of the 3. 2 rifles and 1 pistol. Lin Yu's expression remained unchanged, and he whispered to the 2 women behind him. Let them stop and stop. Lin Yu's purpose is clear, it's Killian. Lin Yu has no interest at all for this kind of cough. This kind of guy has appeared many times in the Iron Man 3 plot. But in the judgment of the system, even a major supporting role is not counted. What is it for? Do you trouble yourself? Lin Yu just finished speaking. The 2 women shot in an instant. Even a little reaction time was not set aside for Seven and the others. The few people hadn't understood what Lin Yu meant. They saw a hammer and a red light suddenly magnified in their eyes. There was glare of thunder and lightning on the hammer. Several people were shocked instantly. Whether it is the hammer or the red light, it is nothing like science can explain. Several people hurriedly wanted to raise their guns. But it was too late. Mjolnir is extremely fast. And that red light is faster. As soon as they met, the 3 of them were instantly knocked into the air by Wanda's attack. Moreover, while in midair, the lightning above Mjolnir hit the bodies of the 3 people one after another. Before landing, the 3 bodyguards rolled their eyes and foamed at the mouth, unconscious. Boom boom. 3 successive landing sounds sounded. In front of him, there were no more obstacles. Lin Yu didn't look back, but a comfortable smile appeared on his face. It's nice to have Wanda and Sharon here. Go to the hall and go to the kitchen. He can also occasionally appear as a bodyguard, which is almost all around. The sound of 3 heavy objects landing also aroused the alertness of Killian and Maya Hansen in the warehouse. The 2 hurriedly found a corner and hid, and Killian quietly took a pistol. After a few seconds, Lin Yu gently pushed the door and finally appeared in this abandoned warehouse. Lin Yu looked around and instantly locked the innermost room. The room is full of laboratory equipment. It would be strange if Killian wasn't there. Lin Yu swaggered towards the laboratory inside. Wanda and Sharon followed closely behind. Compared with Lin Yu's appearance, the 2 women looked a little cautious. But the reason they're cautious is not because of themselves, but because of Lin Yu. Both Wanda and Sharon have strong self-insurance ability. It seems that among the 3, only Lin Yu is an ordinary person. Until now, Lin Yu has not mentioned his infinite mutation system to the 2 of them. Regarding various strange events, as well as Sharon's body mutation, Lin Yu shunned it to his own grocery store. Say everything is because of this strange grocery store. So, the 2 women were very careful to protect Lin Yu. Finally, Lin Yu, the 3 people, came to the innermost room of the warehouse. Come out, Killian, I know you are here. Lin Yu said directly with a smile. He had already seen that the tube of a syringe next to it was still moving slowly. It means that the people in this room were still using the syringe just now. I heard Lin Yu call out his name directly. Killian finally couldn't hide. He raised his pistol and slowly stood up from behind a table. And at the moment, seeing that Killian was holding a gun at Lin Yu, the 2 women hurriedly stood in front of Lin Yu. Stand up for it. Without Lin Yu's order, they did not take action. However, Lin Yu's protection has been tightly closed. At this moment, Maya Hansen, who was hiding by the side, also stood up. Asterisk, a ding. Congratulations to the host for first meeting with Dr. Aldrezi, the core supporting role of the Marvel world. Dr. Killian, and earning 1 plot point. Ding. Congratulations to the host for first meeting Dr. Maya Hansen, the core supporting actor in the Marvel world, and earning 1 plot point. 2 consecutive system prompts sounded in Lin Yu's mind. Lin Yu's face also showed an excited smile. Did not expect. There was unexpected gain. The other main character in Iron Man 3, Maya Hansen, is also here. It's really nowhere to find a place to break through the iron shoes, and it is all effortless to get it. 2 points of plot point to hand. The total plot point has also reached 15 points. Who are you? Why do you know my name, and how did you find here? Killian looked solemn and asked several questions in one go. Holding the pistol in his hand, aiming at the 3 outsiders, Killian's heart was slightly settled. At this moment, Lin Yu didn't answer in a hurry. Gently patted the shoulders of the 2 women, and then said, "It's okay, he can't hurt me." After hearing Lin Yu's words, the 2 women slowly stepped aside. But they did not relax their vigilance. After all, the opponent is still holding a gun. At this time, Lin Yu smiled lightly, and then said, "Don't be excited, don't be afraid, I'm not here to find something, but there is a cooperation project, I want to talk to you." Lin Yu's attitude is very sincere. This makes Killian even more puzzled. What kind of cooperation project? Killian asked coldly without putting down the pistol in his hand. Killian at this time is not as unhurried as in Iron Man 3. Because, at the moment, he has not injected extremis yet. Therefore, the mentality has not changed much. Only after being injected with extremis did he become extremely arrogant and ambitious. Lin Yu smiled again and said faintly, "Apart from extremis, there seems to be nothing in your body that can attract me." As soon as Lin Yu's words were uttered, Killian's face changed drastically. Even Maya Hansen on the side was surprised. Extremis is their biggest secret. And, never said it to anyone else. How did the young man in front of me know? Killian was shocked. But, immediately afterwards. But he quickly returned to calm. As a character like a table male, although he is not strong enough now, he has already revealed the essence of the table male. He tried to keep the calm on his face. Then he said, "How do you want to cooperate?" Killian didn't want to cooperate. After all, extremis research has passed the most critical moment. At this time, he doesn't want to share the fruits of his labor with others. He is just a postponement and wants to see what Lin Yu's purpose is. Lin Yu smiled. Didn't he have another purpose? Cooperation ass. This time I came to grab it. I'll pay $10 to buy out your extremis patent, how about it? Lin Yu said with a smile. When Lin Yu said this, Killian suddenly understood. These few people are here to look for things. A cold look gradually appeared in his eyes. Dare to ask me, you are looking for death. Killian was angry at the gall, and he was about to pull the trigger with his finger. Although he didn't know what happened to the few bodyguards outside, but now he had weapons in his hand, and the other 3 didn't even have a pistol. How can this opportunity be missed? Ding. Aldrezi Killian keeps talking and threatening the host. His pistol hates him and Killian, and actively changes his internal structure to become a bubble gun. There was a trace of healing on Killian's face. Wanda and Sharon became nervous immediately. One raised Mjolnir, a dress danced without wind, and a red light appeared on his body. 2 people, it seems that they are about to make a move right away. At this moment, Lin Yu hurriedly stopped the action of the 2. Don't shoot. Lin Yu shouted softly. Killian is considered a core supporting role, although Lin Yu has already got that little plot point on him. But the plot points he can provide are more than that. Currently, the story of Iron Man 3 has not yet appeared. Killian is still very useful. Lin Yu doesn't want to kill him here now. Lin Yu's words caused Wanda and Sharon to pause immediately. Although they all obeyed Lin Yu's words, they were still nervously protected in front of Lin Yu. At this time, a strange smile suddenly appeared on Killian's face. He shot decisively. As a generation of heroes, you will never be soft when you should make a move. Aside. When Maya Hansen saw Killian's expression, she guessed what would happen. She hurriedly shouted, "Roar loudly, don't shoot." Although Maya Hansen has been working with Killian, her essence is not bad. Her goal is not revenge either. It's just for the sake of completing my own research. Sharon and Wanda also became nervous when they heard Maya Hansen's shout and then saw Killian's expression. They are ready to shoot. Even if Lin Yu stops, they must protect Lin Yu's safety as soon as possible. At this moment, Killian's fingers finally pressed the trigger on the pistol. His face also showed a mad look. Whoever dares to peep into his extremis, no matter who it is, no matter what identity, must die. Give me to die. Killian roared, squeezing the trigger on the pistol frantically. He wants to directly sieve the three people opposite. Although there are still two women, he has no intention of pitying Xiangyu at all. However, when Killian pressed the trigger frantically, in the whole room, there was still only his crazy roar. The imaginary sound of fire did not sound. Killian was stunned. The three women also stood still on the spot. Wanda and Sharon did not make any more moves. Everyone's eyes were attracted by the pistol in Killian's hand, including Killian himself, at the moment. At the position of the muzzle of his pistol, a big soap bubble was slowly spit out. 1, 2, 3. Killian spit out a few bubbles after a few triggers. Killian was dumbfounded. The three women are also dumbfounded. What's happening here? Why is it so weird? Is this Killian crazy? Attacking others with a bubble gun. It's still Big Roar yelling. It seems that he can really fight Deadman. And this time, Killian suddenly seemed to be frightened and squatted on the ground in a panic. His eyes were full of horror. With both hands trembling, he held the pistol in front of him. Looked carefully at it suspiciously. Others might think that he is holding a bubble gun that looks like a pistol. But he knew it very well himself. My pistol is definitely not a bubble gun. He even used it to kill people before. It's just that Maya Hansen doesn't know. But the pistol was good before, but after pulling the trigger, a few bubbles were shot. What's happening here? Someone dropped the package for himself. Impossible. I keep my pistol next to my body. How could someone silently drop it? Is it possible? What kind of supernatural incident did you encounter? At this moment, Lin Yu also gently pushed away Wanda and Sharon who were in front of him and walked forward slowly. But although Wanda and Sharon were weird and shocked with Killian's performance, the two of them hurriedly followed. Protecting Lin Yu from harm is still their most important thing. A few steps, Lin Yu came to Killian's face. Lin Yu slowly squatted down, then looked at Killian who was still a little frightened, and said, "Now, tell me where Extremis is." Killian at the moment, although he hasn't recovered from the weird situation of Gang A. But when Lin Yu asked directly where Extremis was, his face changed drastically again. Isn't it a good cooperation? How did it become a direct grab? Extremis, it hasn't been developed yet, it's just an idea between me and Maya Hansen, Killian said stiffly. Extremis is his greatest support. It is also the most important bargaining chip for whether he can avenge Tony Stark. If there is no Extremis, then he can still only be the building ant hiding in the dark. Lin Yu was stunned for a moment. You still have a stiff mouth? Lin Yu frowned, turned his head, looked at younger sister Wanda, and said, "Wanda, break his arm." Hearing Lin Yu's order, the one who was most surprised was not Wanda, but Sharon. Her face changed. In her impression, Wanda is just a little willful girl. Lin Yu has always spoiled her. What's the situation now? Let Wanda do this kind of thing. Although Sharon knew that Wanda was very strong, she couldn't let a little girl do such terrible things. This kind of breaking someone's arm is much more cruel than the three bodyguards who just shot stunned. Or, let me do it. Sharon asked to take action. As a high-level agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., she is also very good at doing this kind of things. Maya Hansen was even more surprised than Sharon. As a bystander, she was stunned by the behavior of these three people. That man was protected by two women from the beginning. Now, asked a little girl to break someone else's arm. I really don't know if this is cruel to Killian or cruel to that little girl. This kind of man is really amazing. Immediately afterwards, even more incredible things happened. The other woman next to me took the initiative to ask Mew. What's going on? With a broken arm, do you still want to grab it? What kind of combination are these three people? But at this moment, Wanda suddenly laughed and hurriedly shot. She didn't want Sharon to steal her limelight. And Sharon guessed one thing wrong. That is, Wanda has never been what Sharon thought. She usually just likes to fool around. Although I like nonsense, but never really willful. Therefore, Lin Yu has always spoiled Wanda. And the real Wanda is the Wanda who lives with Lin Yu in the orphanage, and is not afraid of heaven and earth. When in the orphanage, Wanda and Lin Yu never fear any fights. Although both Wanda and Lin Yu look thinner, but the fight started, but it was crazier than anyone else. It is impossible for a person like Sharon who has received a good education since childhood to know what kind of orphanage is almost under the jurisdiction of the gang. If you really count with your fingers, Wanda would rather have broken arms or fingers. There are 7 or 8 if there are not 10, right? Let me come. Wanda hurried to the front. She didn't want Sharon to steal the limelight. At the moment, Lin Yu also slowly got up and gave way to Wang Da. Wanda rolled her sleeves and walked forward. This scene reminded Lin Yu of the orphanage. There was also a knowing smile on his face, but it is a little different from before. Wanda didn't get started directly. Instead, he stood in front of Killian, stretched out a hand, pointed at the opponent's body, and the red light on his body began to flicker. Actually, in Killian's heart, he was a bit disdainful of Wanda. A girl who looks so thin, she seems to be young, and she wants to break her arm. It's a fantasy. I'm afraid that even if she doesn't move, she can't twist her arm. But in the next scene, Killian's heart was instantly cold. His eyes were also round. It seemed to have seen something extremely terrifying. At the moment, Wanda didn't grab Killian's arm directly with his hands. Instead, he stood at a distance of 2 or 3 meters in front of him and stretched out a hand. Then, a red light flashed on her hand. The power of Scarlet Witch broke out in an instant. Killian's body completely lost control, and was directly pulled into the air by the red light. He was stunned, struggling in panic. However, it is of no use at all. You know, Wanda's power, even against Thanos, can have the upper hand. Not to mention a weak human being. And he is still a human being who is obsessed with research all year round and lacks exercise. At this time, a cruel smile appeared on Wanda's face. She also recalled what happened in the orphanage back then. At that time, it was usually the old man who controlled the enemy, and she was responsible for teaching the enemy a lesson. And now, today is different. You can solve any enemy by yourself. Wanda's other hand suddenly stretched forward. Grab it out of thin air, then twist it. A scream suddenly resounded throughout the warehouse. I saw that one of Killian's arms suddenly became bent backwards. Obviously it has been broken. And the most terrifying thing is that the place to break is not the position of the joint, but the bones of the forearm. Wanda broke the forearm bone directly. That kind of pain made Killian faint almost instantly. This scene is quite cruel. Even Sharon, who was standing by, felt a little rash. As for Maya Hansen on the other side, he couldn't stand it anymore. She was so scared that she covered her eyes. Until now, she really understood that these 2 women and 1 man are not good. It is really the image of the other party, which is too deceptive. 2 seemingly weak girls, and a young Asian youth who is also a little thin, seem not at all threatening. However, what they did was completely inconsistent with their image. In addition, Maya Hansen was originally just a scientist, and he had never seen a bit of blood. Naturally, he was very scared. And at the moment, Killian is even worse. He is still suspended in the air under the control of Wanda. Can't move at all. The only thing that can move in his body is his head. The expression on his face has been completely distorted. Even the gums bite out blood. In his heart, there was not only fear, but also shock. The red things on Wanda are really appalling. But there was also a glimmer of hope in Killian's heart. For him, breaking an arm is not a big psychological burden except for the pain. Because he knew that if he took extremis, this kind of injury would heal instantly. So, in his heart, there is still faith supporting him. At the moment, Lin Yu walked forward 2 steps slowly again, raised his head and looked at Killian in midair. How about it? Let's talk about it now, Lin Yu asked calmly. It was like a demon whispering in the ear, but what surprised Lin Yu was, Killian is not even ready to say it. He closed his mouth tightly, and the muscles on his face were still trembling from the pain. However, he still said nothing. This guy is a stubborn stubble. Lin Yu frowned slightly. Unexpectedly, Killian could be so resistant. It's a ruthless person. Wanda, break his other hand, Lin Yu faintly ordered again. Hearing these words, Killian's eyes clearly showed extreme horror. But he still chose to keep his mouth shut. Although Lin Yu has watched all Marvel movies, he also knows some of Killian's experiences. However, without personal experience, it is impossible to know what kind of hatred Killian is suppressing in his heart. He even committed suicide in the first place. For a person who dares to commit suicide, it is really nothing to break an arm. And he is not afraid of death, because, without extremis, he would not be able to avenge Tony Stark. If you can't get revenge, it's better to die. So, he was able to remain silent until now. But just when Wanda was about to make another shot, Maya Hansen on the side couldn't stand it anymore. She really couldn't stand her companion being treated like this. It's a woman's nature to be unbearable. Especially she is a weak woman who hasn't seen too many cruelty. I tell you where you are, don't hurt her anymore. Maya Hansen cried out, crying slightly. She was really scared. These people are too cruel. If you don't agree, you will break your arm. It's simply the devil. Moreover, that little girl is really terrifying. He was able to control Killian's body to fly. It's not human. Maya Hansen could no longer bear this kind of suffering. Hearing Maya Hansen's voice, Lin Yu suddenly smiled. Woman, Killian has been carried until now, I didn't expect that you can't stand it anymore. The man with his broken arm didn't say a word. You, the watcher, unexpectedly surrendered. Hey, forget it, don't want to. Lin Yu smiled and stopped thinking about all the messy things. At this time, you should not feel uncomfortable yourself. The most uncomfortable one should be Killian. Really. After hearing Maya Hansen's words, Killian's mouth, which had been tightly closed, finally began to yell. No. Don't tell them, don't, Killian gaped, at this moment. Lin Yu has slowly walked in front of Maya Hansen. The smile on Lin Yu's face looked like a devil's smile to Maya Hansen. Quite scary. And what Lin Yu said is just as scary. Now, I have changed my mind. If you don't tell me, I will break his neck immediately instead of his arm, Lin Yu said slowly. Maya Hansen was a little shaken by Killian's words, but when Lin Yu said this, she surrendered instantly. She pointed to a corner of the laboratory in horror, and then said, Extremis is behind that wall, in the safe. After saying this, Maya Hansen slumped directly to the ground. Facing Lin Yu, she felt like she was negotiating with the devil. Only, he has no bargaining power at all. After hearing Maya Hansen's words, Killian seemed to be a frustrated ball, completely losing his previous stubborn appearance. And at the moment, Lin Yu has slowly reached the position pointed by Maya Hansen. Lin Yu's face suddenly showed a suddenly realized expression. It turned out that there was a secret door here. If you don't look carefully, you can't tell at all that the walls of this place turned out to be hidden doors. Lin Yu opened the secret door, and a safe was immediately exposed. Lin Yu turned his head, looked at Maya Hansen again, and asked, How much is the password? Maya Hansen, who asked this sentence, was taken aback. She actually shook her head and slowly said, I don't know the password. Only he knows the password for this safe. Lin Yu was happy. After doing it for a long time, I still have to let Killian speak. Lin Yu squatted directly next to the safe, and calmly said to Killian, Let's talk, the safe has been found, it's useless to keep the password. But, at the moment, after hearing Lin Yu's words, Killian suddenly laughed out loud. His appearance regained his arrogance again. Ha 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 ha, I won't tell you the password. If you want to know the password, let me down and discuss it. Moreover, this safe has a self-destructing device. If the password is entered 3 times incorrectly, it will automatically explode and you will not get it. Extremis. Lin Yu frowned when he heard these words. This Killian is really F***king. At this time, Killian said arrogantly, I have changed my mind now. Even if I let me down, I won't tell you the password. If you want to know the password, you just kneel in front of me and beg me. Killian was indeed a little perverted in his heart. The long-term depression has made his heart distorted. At this time, he was still learning Lin Yu's way of speaking. Have you changed your mind? Lin Yu suddenly became happy. Because, just as Killian said these words, Lin Yu's mind also immediately sounded the system prompt. Ding. Aldrezi Killian spoke rudely to the host and spoke insults. He couldn't stand his safe anymore. He voluntarily gave up the password set by his disdainful person and restored the factory settings. The initial password was. Lin Yu was so happy. Killian's operation is okay. Originally, I really had nothing to do with this safe. If it is the same as what he said, there is a self-destructing device inside, then it will be troublesome. I'm afraid, even Wanda can't open this safe easily. But Killian actually let himself kneel down. Isn't this just scolding yourself? Good scolding. Lin Yu didn't care about Killian's words at all. Turning around, he directly pressed the password button on the safe. Killian was terrified. At the moment, he was already controlled by Wanda and turned around. He saw Lin Yu's operation with his own eyes, and he can see that Lin Yu's fingers have not changed places. Jing Ran has always been there. The number, 6. Are you crazy? There are only 3 chances in total? If all of them are wrong, then I am afraid that everyone will not get those extremists. During this time, Killian and Maya Hansen produced 3 extremists in total. The 3 are all virus stocks. Only through these virus stocks, they can more conveniently carry out the next research. Increase the number of extremists by cultivating replication. And if they don't have these original liquids, then they have to start from scratch. In that case, it is estimated that it will take several years to succeed again. So, this is the reason why Killian doesn't want to give Lin Yu those stock solutions. He didn't want to wait a few more years. Tony Stark's strength will continue to grow stronger. He didn't want to be a few years later, even if he used extremis, he would not be Tony's opponent. In Killian's puzzled and horrified gaze, Lin Yu finally finished 8 sixes. Then, a strange scene appeared. Killian looks silly. After Lin Yu finished the string of numbers, 6, the small light on the safe turned green. Green means that the password lock is opened. What's the situation? What the hell? When did the password become 86? Killian's eyes widened, his face full of incredible. At the moment, he seemed to have forgotten the pain in his arm. The scene before him was beyond the limit of his imagination. Do not. It's not just the scene in front of me. Ever since Lin Yu and his gang came here, everything that has happened is extremely weird. First of all, his pistol, after pulling the trigger, it hit soap bubbles. Then the woman was able to use some weird energy to control her body to fly into the sky, and even broke her arm out of thin air. Finally, that man blindly pressed 8 sixes on his safe. And the safe was opened. Especially meow, how could the password be 86? No matter how big your heart is, it is impossible to set such a stupid password. Killian, who has almost been tortured, almost doesn't believe in science. He really didn't know whether he was dreaming or the real world. At the moment, Lin Yu smiled slightly, gently opened the door of the safe. Inside, 3 transparent glass bottles were placed quietly. In every glass bottle, there is some light blue liquid glowing. These should be extremis. The corners of Lin Yu's mouth curled up slightly. But, at this time, suddenly some slight footsteps came in the direction of the warehouse entrance. It seems that someone is coming. Everyone looked at the door of warehouse in an instant. Even Lin Yu frowned and retracted his hand that was about to get extremis. Who is it? Who is here at this time? But, when they saw the figure at the door, everyone was stunned. A bald head with a green complexion, white foam on the corners of his mouth, and a rifle in his hand, appeared in the eyes of everyone. That guy, it is Killian's servant who was knocked out by Wanda and Sharon just now. Lin Yu was taken aback for a moment. He deserved to be called Siwen, he was able to resist. The lightning on Sharon's hammer was absolutely strong, but he recovered so quickly after being struck by those lightning. Physical fitness is indeed strong. At this moment, a look of surprise suddenly appeared on Killian's face. My own subordinates are still alive. And now, the other woman with super ability was controlling herself, and it seemed that she hadn't had time to vacate her hands. That weird man was also squatting next to the safe. At this time, the appearance of Siwen is definitely his best hope for a comeback today. Shoot, shoot. Killian yelled again. He was already desperate. Even if he was shot, he would fight for it. In case you didn't die directly, you can inject extremis and recover as before. But the other party may not be so lucky. Those 2 women, standing on the outermost side, would definitely be hit the first time. Hurry up and shoot. Killian was still yelling frantically. Siwen at the door actually felt a little dizzy in his head. After all, the electric current just now is really strong. But, after hearing Killian's command, he still resisted the discomfort in his head and raised the rifle in his hand. Seeing Seven's movements, Killian's face was already showing a cruel smile. He has already thought about it. If he doesn't die, he must torture the 3 Lin Yu. You must not let these demons feel better. At this moment, Killian suddenly felt that the red energy that controlled him suddenly disappeared. His body also fell from midair. Obviously, the girl in the red dress was about to change her head to deal with Siwen. But, can you make it? Although Killian fell to the ground, his eyes were fixed on the front image. He wants to witness himself turning the situation around. However, at the moment, there was a flower in front of his eyes. There seems to be a dazzling light passing in front of you. That seems it's a hammer. Killian didn't notice the other woman among the 3. Compared with the other 2 people, the girl looked a little low-key. She just said a word when the man ordered the little girl in red to remove one of her arms. There was no more movement after that. It seems that she is just an ordinary person. But, at the moment, Killian found out that he was so wrong. That woman actually threw a hammer. The speed is outrageous. Even his gaze can't keep up with the speed of that hammer. And, even more terrifying is, whether it was the hammer or the woman's body, extremely dazzling lightning flashed. Is that human being? Killian feels that his head is not working well. It turns out that this girl who seems to be the most ordinary of the 3 is not an ordinary person. And, it looks more awesome and more domineering. Sparkling and thundering, as if the gods descended from the earth. Boom. There was a violent crash. 7 disappeared directly into the night. I don't know how far it flew out. After a few seconds, In the horrified gaze of Killian and Maya Hansen, the hammer that flashed with thunder actually flew back again. Then Sharon gently took it in his hand, as if nothing happened. It seems that Siwen has never appeared before. Killian was dumbfounded. I hope to come quickly, but go faster. At this moment, after experiencing these things, Killian suddenly felt that the extremis that he had studied for decades was not good anymore. I am afraid that with the powerful abilities of these two women, it is estimated that even if they are injected with extremis, they are definitely not their opponents. Why is this world like this? Killian muttered to herself, as if she couldn't accept it for a while. No one heard Killian's words. Definitely, even if you hear it, no one cares. He is just a tragic loser. At least, after Lin Yu came, he was destined to be a loser. At the moment, after solving the sudden appearance of the enemy, the warehouse became quiet again. Killian, who was limp on the ground, didn't have any thoughts to resist either. Although Wanda no longer controlled him, but after seeing the power of these two women, Killian had a thorough understanding of reality. Even if he was injected with extremis, he would not be their opponent. What's more, I am just an ordinary person now. At the moment, Lin Yu also reached out to the bottle of extremis in the safe again. When Lin Yu's hand just touched the bottle, the sound of the system really rang again in time. Lin Yu's infinite mutation system, although not capable of making Lin Yu stronger, has never let Lin Yu down. Whatever is needed, basically what will come. It's almost like being able to see through Lin Yu's thoughts. Ding. The extremis medicine in your hand feels a bit of warmth, and you decide to perfect your shortcomings and become extremis in perfect form. After the injection, it is 100% integrated successfully, without side effects, without any adverse reactions, strengthening regeneration ability, strengthening physique enhancing ability. When Lin Yu took out a bottle of desperate potion from the safe, that bottle of extremis potion has become the perfect version of extremity potion. Quite magical. Lin Yu couldn't help but go get the remaining 2 bottles again. But the remaining 2 bottles did not mutate anymore. Lin Yu shook his head slightly, guessing in his mind that it might be because the system felt that he only needed 1 bottle, and then the remaining 2 bottles did not mutate. But Lin Yu really only needs 1 bottle. Wanda and Sharon now each have their own path. They don't need desperate potions. All you need is yourself. Lin Yu took this bottle of desperate potion and slowly stood up. Then he looked at Maya Hansen, who was squatting on the side, with a smile on his lips. Lin Yu has always done everything without procrastination. When it's time to run, I will definitely be the first to run. It should be hidden, and it must be hidden strictly. It's time to get an injection. Just get an injection as soon as possible. Especially the elixir potion in his hand, has mutated into a perfect elixir potion. At the moment, in Lin Yu's sight, a line of small characters has appeared above this bottle of desperate potion. Name: Potion of Despair. Variation: Direction, Perfection, Enhancement, no side effects. Variation level: Level 4. Special circumstances: No special circumstances, it is the best choice to inject it as soon as possible. Lin Yu smiled and came directly to Maya Hansen's side. Seeing Lin Yu walking towards him directly, Maya Hansen, who was already a little frightened, shrank back in a hurry. But the laboratory is just this big, she is already in the corner. Even if I go back, I can't go back far. What do you want to do? Don't come over, Maya Hansen shouted in horror. It's like what Lin Yu wants to do to her. Pity. Lin Yu has no personal interest in her at all. Although her face looks good and her figure is good, she and Tony had a very good relationship back then. It's not that Lin Yu doesn't want to offend Tony. Tony doesn't have that much energy yet. Lin Yu is simply not interested. Get up, Lin Yu said lightly. Maya Hansen is scared. Lin Yu is like a real devil. But she still had to stand up obediently. Although she was still trembling slightly, but what Lin Yu said next made her stunned for an instant. Come. Help me inject this bottle of desperate potion, Lin Yu said with a smile. Maya Hansen didn't react for a while. What the hell? Injection? Who? You. What are you talking about? Maya Hansen thought Lin Yu was joking. But Lin Yu's tone and expression didn't seem to be a joke at all. I said give me an injection of this bottle of desperate potion. Hold on, don't talk nonsense. Lin Yu's face suddenly became colder. Maya Hansen rushed to the side of the syringe in a hurried 3 or 2 steps. It just so happened that when Killian wanted to inject just now, he had already prepared all the equipment. Just put the medicine in, and then the needle directly. Lin Yu did not have any hesitation, and directly handed Maya Hansen the extremis potion in his hand, and then stood quietly to the side. At this moment, seeing Lin Yu's behavior, Wanda and Sharon both had some doubts in their hearts. Although Lin Yu told them that there is a medicine Lin Yu needs. But it didn't say that the injection was done directly on the spot. It seems that Lin Yu's behavior is a bit reckless. However, the two did not say anything. They have always unconditionally supported Lin Yu's decision. And at the moment, on the side of Killian, there was an imperceptible smile on his face. His eyes are also brighter than before, only he hides it well. He knows this thing best, elixir of despair. Even Maya Hansen is not as thorough as he understands. The current desperate potion has a very big drawback. That is, after the injection, it is not done once and for all. It must be injected every once in a while. If you stop, your body will experience a phenomenon of continuous high temperature. In the end, it will even explode directly on the spot. Killian dared to inject directly because he and Maya Hansen were able to quickly copy more of the Extremis potion through these Extremis potion stock solutions. When the time comes, you can just inject it once in a while. But Lin Yu is different. If he wants to inject again after the injection, he must use himself and Maya Hansen to create more desperate potions. It can't be made by others. Thus, it is equivalent to indirectly controlling his life in his own hands. When the time comes, are you still afraid that he will not listen to yourself? Killian was already laughing in his heart. The weirdness of Lin Yu and the strength of the two women around him were all seen in Killian's eyes. If Lin Yu was controlled by himself, wouldn't these two women be able to sacrifice their lives for themselves? Killian's heart became more and more excited. With the help of these two women, there is hope for revenge. Even the bigger plan of In My Heart can be implemented. But although Killian was happy, his face still remained calm. He even lowered his head quietly, for fear that others would see his expression. But at the moment, after putting the elixir potion on the syringe, Maya Hansen's face showed a hint of hesitation. Her mind is indeed not bad, even facing the devil like Lin Yu. She still couldn't help but reminded, these desperate medicines are not finished products. After injection, there will be great risks. I think I need to remind you. Lin Yu was slightly taken aback when he heard Maya Hansen's words. He didn't expect that this Maya Hansen would remind himself. It's really possible. And Killian, when he heard these words, he started to scold in an instant. He hates Maya Hansen so much. This is simply a pig teammate. Do not. After I have completely perfected Extremis, I will kill this woman who has not succeeded but failed. Killian was very anxious. However, he dared not say anything. I can only use the light from the corner of my eye to keep tightly on Lin Yu, who is about to be injected. Except for Killian. Others are more anxious. That is Wanda and Sharon. Killian is afraid that Lin Yu will not inject. And the two women are worried. Brother, since it's dangerous, don't inject this thing first. Boss. Why don't you think about it again, the two women said anxiously. I heard the worry of the two women. Lin Yu turned his head and looked at Wanda and Sharon. And there was a slight smile on his face. Said, it's okay, don't worry, my body is very good, no problem. Lin Yu is very confident, definitely confident. Because this bottle of Extremis potion has no side effects at all. You are a fool if you don't inject early, soothed Wanda and Sharon, turned their heads, and looked at Maya Hansen again. His face became cold again. Hurry up, don't ink. Maya Hansen has everything ready. But it hasn't been pierced for a long time. Do you want to fix you on this bed, and do you want to bite something in your mouth, it may be very painful? Maya Hansen said weakly. Although it is the first time to inject Extremis into humans, they have already tested it on animals. Moreover, even if there is no experiment, Maya Hansen also knows this Extremis integrate process. It's absolutely painful. After Extremis enters the body, it will quickly remodel the entire body's cells. It is equivalent to shredding every part of the body and then recombining it. It must be quite painful. She was a little afraid that after Lin Yu was injected, she would feel unhappy. Maya Hansen is also kind. However, Lin Yu is obviously not ready to appreciate it. Don't talk nonsense, just inject, Lin Yu said lightly. Maya Hansen seemed to sigh slightly, and then decisively stopped hesitation. It hit Lin Yu's arm. After finishing the tie, Maya Hansen hurried back a few steps. She is indeed a little scared. In case Lin Yu goes crazy with pain, getting too close to him may hurt himself. At the moment, Killian hasn't spoken all the time. There is no movement. He is like a cheetah waiting for an opportunity, quietly squatting on the ground. When I saw Maya Hansen stick the Extremis needle into Lin Yu's arm, his mood became more and more excited. However, what he concealed was getting better and better. Finally. Until all extremis was injected. All the depression of Killian finally broke out. He covered his arm with one hand, and then laughed wildly. Ha 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 ha. Killian at the moment is like a lunatic. His eyes were covered with bloodshot eyes, and almost his entire eyes were dyed red. Killian is not afraid of anything now. Everyone in the room was attracted by Killian, who was laughing wildly. What are you laughing at? Sharon raised the hammer in his hand, frowning slightly. Killian's expression is wrong. Killian at the moment obviously has no capital to resist. Then why did he suddenly laugh? Moreover, it was when Lin Yu just injected extremis into his body. At the moment. Upon hearing Sharon's words, Killian finally stopped laughing. He glanced around, looked at Lin Yu, who still had a needle in his arm, then looked at Wanda and Sharon, and finally looked at Maya Hansen. You probably don't know one thing, this extremis, in fact, Maya Hansen only played a supporting role. It is not her who really understands extremis and is responsible for research and development, but me. Extremis has a very serious flaw. Maya Hansen doesn't know it. She thought it was just that the success rate was very low, but it wasn't. The success rate of the first injection of extremis is very high. After 24 hours, it will integrate successfully. During these 24 hours, you will not want to live or even commit suicide. Definitely, the biggest flaw is that after the extremis injection, you have to re-inject it every 10 to 15 days, and you have to inject it forever for the rest of your life. Listening to Killian's words, whether it was Maya Hansen, Wanda and Sharon, their faces became more and more ugly. Maya Hansen did not expect Killian to lie to her all the time. Sharon and Wanda are worried about Lin Yu. If it's like Killian, it would be bad. At this moment, Killian suddenly looked at Lin Yu, with a weird smile on his face, and said, definitely, there is another good news, that is, I can help you continue to make more extremis, but the only condition is that you must obey my arrangements, otherwise, you will fend for yourself. Even if you ask someone who is more capable to help you research, even if you have the help of Maya Hansen, it will be impossible to develop successfully in less than a year or a half, except for me, no one can help you survive. Ha ha ha. Killian laughed wildly again. At this time, he felt that he had completely eaten this young man. Lin Yu's reckless injection of extremis is like a big pie from the sky for Killian. A great opportunity to turn him over, ha ha ha. But, with a smile, he suddenly felt something was wrong. It seems that the whole laboratory is talking by himself. Other people, why are they so quiet? Shouldn't they panic, fear, or even pray to themselves? What's the situation? Killian looked at the two women, Wanda and Sharon, but found that their faces didn't even have the same worried look just now. Why? Shouldn't they worry about that man? Isn't the relationship between them very good? When Gang Yu raised his pistol, they even stood in front of the man. It shouldn't be so peaceful now. Immediately afterwards, Killian seemed to notice something. He turned his head and looked in Lin Yu's direction again. Suddenly stunned, Lin Yu had already pulled out the needle by himself. Like an okay person, she looked at herself quietly. There was no change in his body. I can't even see that extremis has been injected. There is no trace of pain. There was even a slight smile on his face. What's going on? Doesn't it take 24 hours to completely integrate? Isn't he going to be in constant pain during these 24 hours? He should be hot now, and his whole body cells are constantly tearing and regenerating. But why does he look the same as before, with no change at all? Killian really didn't believe in the scene before him. For extremis, there is absolutely no second person in this world who knows more than himself. This is something I developed myself. Impossible. He couldn't have changed at all. Could it be that he lied to himself just now? Just injected a bottle of glucose? Just to lie to yourself and tell the truth? In Killian's heart, a lot of thoughts flashed in an instant. But at this moment, Lin Yu suddenly smiled strangely. In front of Killian, Lin Yu raised one of his hands, and that hand instantly turned into the color of magma. High temperature, strong, fear. Killian was completely limp to the ground. All his thoughts were all shattered. In front of this man, he was like a jumping beam joker. No matter how you call it, it's just my own wishful thinking. He even successfully integrated extremis. Moreover, it only took less than a minute. No, even shorter. Killian's worldview collapsed. All along, the scientific viewpoints that we insisted on have also completely become illusions. At this moment, Lin Yu suddenly turned his head and whispered to Maya Hansen, a kind reminder. I suggest you leave Killian early, otherwise you will regret it. Finish this sentence. I didn't care about Maya Hansen's reaction. Lin Yu strode out. Wanda and Sharon also hurriedly followed. Seeing Lin Yu now, they were completely relieved. Although just now, the words Killian said made them really worried. But the smile that Lin Yu kept on his face made them feel relieved. Compared to Killian, who is like a lunatic, they are more willing to believe in Lin Yu. Therefore, they seemed more calm just now. But at this moment, when the three came to the warehouse door, Lin Yu suddenly turned around and looked into the laboratory. Lin Yu's mouth curled slightly, and then he said, "Oh, forgot one thing, Tony asked me to say hello to you." After saying this, Lin Yu Xiaoju turned around and disappeared into the night with the two women. Camaro broke out again with a fierce roar, lopsided. And at the moment, in the laboratory, after Killian heard Lin Yu's words, it seemed that Killian had lost his courage to live, and his eyes lit up in an instant. In that gleam of light, there is not only the desire to survive, and the flames of vengeance. Original. This man was sent by Tony. Original. Tony Stark always knew that he was watching him lurking in the dark. Killian slowly got up from the ground, then walked to the safe with the door open. I took out another bottle of awakening potion. That person actually left the remaining 2 bottles of awakening medicine to himself. In Killian's heart, hope ignited again. Tony Stark. You wait for me to know. Inside the Bumblebee, Lin Yu is about to be tortured crazy. The two women kept chatting. Lin Yu can only be patient and explain one by one. What is called extremis? What are the benefits of injection? Why is this happening? Will it die after being chopped? What is the effect of being shot? Can it grow out if the head is off? With all the mess, Lin Yu's head is about to explode. Fortunately, the speed of the Hornet is very fast. Soon the three of them came to the grocery store. At the moment, Erha hurriedly got out of the dog hole under the gate. Fawning rubbed against Lin Yu's leg. Lin Yu suddenly squatted down and touched Erha's head affectionately. He now finally feels that Erha seems to be the best. Only Erha. There are not so many things, roar will come and go, and if you feel uncomfortable, you can kick your feet to relieve your breath. Much better than those two women. Erha had never received such preferential treatment, and hurriedly lay on the ground, enjoying the comfort of the owner. For a time, the atmosphere was extremely harmonious. But now, Lin Yu hasn't realized what kind of impact it will have on life after he is injected with extremis. Until Wanda took a kitchen knife and walked out of the kitchen. And to cut off one of Lin Yu's arm to see if it can grow out again. Lin Yu finally realized that something was wrong. Even more terrifying is, Sharon, who was originally very sensible, did not dissuade Wanda this time. Instead, he hugged his chest and quietly became a melon-eating crowd. Lin Yu suddenly wanted to cry without tears. What happened to this grocery store? Is it true that their brains affected by this weird grocery store are not normal? Or was it influenced by yourself? Wanda chased Lin Yu 2 streets. Lin Yu was finally softened, definitely. Lin Yu also wants to try his current ability. This is a great help for yourself to understand your body. But Wanda, who is indeed holding a kitchen knife, is scary. At Lin Yu's request, Lin Yu chose to do it himself. And just cut off a bit of flesh on the thumb of the hand. Really. The wound healed quickly. Not even the slightest scar is left. Lin Yu is extremely satisfied with this effect. And it's not just recovery. Ability has improved. Lin Yu's strength and physical fitness have improved a lot. Lin Yu now estimates that his physical strength should be similar to the United States Captain Steve. As for recovery, Steve is not an opponent at all. Definitely, this is just a comparison of pure physical conditions. If you really fight without relying on the system, Lin Yu is definitely not Steve's opponent. After all, people fight professionally. And Lin Yu is just a grocery store owner. But Lin Yu never wanted to improve his combat ability. Those are all floating clouds, all upside down the card before the horse. The system is my biggest support. Extremis also only improved some of its life-saving abilities to prevent accidental injuries in case the system did not have time to react. If Lin Yu got the ability provided by Extremis, he stopped being low-key. That is basically impossible. The character is basically set long ago. Lin Yu's days have returned to calm again. Lin Yu still plays games every day, goes to bed early and wakes up late, and the days are happy and happy again. Wanda is still working on her money-making plan. Many customers visit Lin Yu's shop every day. Wanda's sales are still very useful. And Sharon has become more and more integrated into the small group of Lin Yu and Wanda. Become an indispensable member of the grocery store. But just when life was on the right track again in the grocery store. S.H.I.E.L.D. has not been very peaceful recently. especially the supervisory unit of S.H.I.E.L.D., the World Security Council. The newly appointed Minister Pierce seems to have a good relationship with S.H.I.E.L.D. Director Nick Fury. This caused dissatisfaction among several members of the World Security Council. Originally, the duty of the World Security Council was to supervise S.H.I.E.L.D. However, the top leaders of the two departments have a very good personal relationship. How can this be supervised? As a result, Pierce has been very busy recently. Even when I was invited to Lin Yu's grocery store, I didn't spare any time. Definitely. The reason Pierce has been busy these days is not the only reason. There is one more thing. That is, after the Battle of New York, S.H.I.E.L.D. Director Nick Fury led an operation called Project Insight. The plan is huge. With the help of Tony Stark, S.H.I.E.L.D. will build 3 space carriers and rise to the sky. And through a special algorithm, people who threaten the safety of the Earth are strangled in the cradle. This Insight plan was rejected by the entire World Security Council. But Pierce has always supported Nick Fury. Several members of the World Security Council thought that Pierce supported him because of his relationship with Nick Fury. They didn't expect that Pierce's true identity was actually the leader of Hydra. The Insight plan has long been secretly turned into a weapon for them to dominate the world by Hydra. And it's not just Pierce. The entire S.H.I.E.L.D. is almost completely controlled by Hydra. New York City. In a secret underground base. Pierce's figure suddenly appeared in this extremely secret place. This is actually a secret stronghold of Hydra. Under normal circumstances, a guy in a high position like Pierce won't come here easily. But he seems to have something special today. And not only Pierce, but many core members of Hydra have also arrived here. They will hold a secret meeting here tonight. No one knew the content of the meeting before it started, only Pierce knew it. After a few minutes, wearing a black suit, he walked through the simple and easy Pierce and walked into this underground secret base. Pushing open the door of the conference room, several people in at the moment are already sitting at the conference table. At this moment, seeing Pierce come in, there was a hint of shock in everyone's eyes. They actually don't know who the top leader of their organization is. These people did not expect that the leader of their organization would have become the minister of the World Security Council. Bit high weight. Hydra's organization is extremely tight. Even among Hydra members, they rarely know the identity of their teammates. This is also an important reason why Hydra can exist so far. Definitely. Except Pierce. When the other members met just now, they were all shocked to each other. Almost most of the people present were in S.H.I.E.L.D. And most of them are officials above the middle level. In normal times, it would be impossible for them to know that colleagues who have been with each other for months or even years are working for Hydra. But today, it is really because some facts are too important that Pierce made the decision to meet a few core members. This meeting determines the future of Hydra, because the Insight plan is actually not as simple as Nick Fury imagined. If 3 space carriers are really raised to the sky, then it will become Hydra's most powerful weapon. At that time, no one on the entire planet will be able to stop Hydra. This is the battle to determine the fate of Hydra. The meeting began. The biggest issue is to discuss how to implement the next Insight plan perfectly. This requires the concerted efforts of all members. In addition to this most important question, and one more thing. That is, how to weaken the power of S.H.I.E.L.D. as much as possible. No matter what method is used, all those who can block the Insight plan must be dealt with. For example, Nick Fury's most trusted captain of the United States, Steve, Black Widow Natasha Romanoff, Hawkeye Barton and so on. Definitely. Also recently Nick Fury has relied on the most, and is also the guy who mentioned the most in front of Pierce. A little consultant, Lin Yu. This guy named Lin Yu should be the person Nick Fury relies on most now. His ability, even Nick Fury, seems a little scared, but Nick Fury can't tell what ability is. This kind of variable must be completely eliminated before the Insight plan starts. Enable the Winter Soldier, and kill him at all costs. Pierce ordered coldly. The entire Hydra is fully operational. Time flies. Recently, this chaotic Marvel universe has seemed a little calm. The entire Asgard was mobilized, looking for a long time who destroyed Odin's palace, but no cobweb horses were found. It seems that the palace simply collapsed on its own. There is absolutely no trace of man-made. As the anger in Odin's heart gradually faded due to the passage of time, Asgard became calm again. After Thor was locked up for a while, it was finally released. Originally, Odin wanted to go to the Earth himself, and wanted to bring Mjolnir back. But, after all, Mjolnir was Thor voluntarily traded out. I'm going to ask for it now, it's really not Mjolnir. Moreover, Odin has not yet figured out the sacred green figure that appeared on the Earth. So he didn't dare to go to the Earth rashly. However, Odin really couldn't bear his son wandering around with a broken axe like rubbish. Odin had no choice but to let Thor go to Nidavel. Look for those dwarf, compared to Thor's storm battleaxe weapon, and then recreate a battleaxe. The name of this battleaxe is also called the storm battleaxe. Quite powerful. And because it has the same name and the same shape as the previous axe, Thor happily accepted this new weapon. Even Lin Yu didn't expect it. Because of the axe he made casually, Thor got a blessing in disguise. Get your strongest weapon in advance, the real storm battleaxe. Solve Thor's matter. The whole Asgard, the whole people mobilized, began the major project of rebuilding the palace. For a while, I am afraid that there will be no time to care about things on the earth. In the grocery store, Lin Yu has accumulated a large amount of dollars in his stock account. Although Lin Yu has not paid attention to stocks for some time. However, the mobile phone stocks have never stopped. Since the Battle of New York, Lin Yu's mobile phone took a fancy to a stock called Storm Games, and almost all his funds were spent on it. The scary thing is that this stock rose rapidly after the Battle of New York. It is now 20 times as much as when Lin Yu's mobile phone was bought. Many investors call it a miracle in the advertising industry. Because this company quickly became popular, and the reason for the stock rise. It's because, during the Battle of New York, people found that there was a monster in many pictures, which was very similar to the boss in a game owned by this company. All the people in the United States think this is the advertising method of Storm Games. And Storm Games, originally an unknown small game company, suddenly became popular. Performance has soared. The company's market value is also growing continuously. So this has resulted in a 20-fold increase in stocks. In addition to making a lot of money in the stock market recently, Lin Yu's grocery store also has a lot of income. Customers are in an endless stream every day. And never bargain. The price is not too high. Every day Wanda makes a lot of money, but the only regret is, Wanda is still stubborn. Lin Yu wanted to buy a few cars, but Wanda sternly refused. Don't talk about buying a car. Even when recruiting a clerk, Wanda disagreed. It can be called the Iron Hen of the financial fan world. Definitely. Not recruiting shop assistants has little impact on Lin Yu. Because Wanda works very actively. Coupled with Sharon's assistance, Lin Yu is basically unable to get involved. His main job every day is to walk the dog, play games, and be happy. But a peaceful life does not always last. There are always things. If you don't find him, he will come to you on the initiative. This night, the grocery store just wanted to close. Suddenly, a figure in black appeared in front of the grocery store. As a money fan, Wanda never refuses every customer. What do you want to buy? Wanda's face again showed a standardized smile, and hurriedly let go of the door. The man in black didn't say anything, just walked in quietly. When his figure came to the grocery store, Wanda realized that this person seemed a little strange. There was a strange mask on his face, which blocked most of his face. The strangest thing is one of his arms. Jingren is the color of metal. Seeing this, Wanda suddenly frowned slightly. This guy doesn't seem to be here to buy things. Brother, there is a customer, come and recruit roar, Wanda hurriedly yelled at Lin Yu. When there are customers, even if he is busy, Wanda usually doesn't bother to let Lin Yu come forward. So, when Wanda yelled like that, Lin Yu, who was immersed in the game, immediately noticed something was wrong. Lin Yu put down the mouse and slowly raised his head. Ding. Congratulations to the host for the first time seeing the core supporting role of the Marvel world, Winter Soldier Bucky Barnes, for getting one plot point. This reminder gave Lin Yu a slight stun. His gaze finally saw the figure standing at the door of the house. Long hair, cold eyes, black mask, and that distinctive metal arm. Not Winter Soldier Bucky, who else? When Lin Yu saw Bucky, the other party also saw Lin Yu. As a guy whose brain is controlled by Hydra, he doesn't have any extra thoughts. His purpose is only one. That is to complete the task. And this time, there is only one task for him, and that is to kill Lin Yu. Winter Soldier Bucky did not hesitation. As soon as he saw Lin Yu, he quickly attacked Lin Yu. His movements are extremely fast, without any extra movements at all. And it is strange that this time the ability of Lucky Cat seems to have failed. It seems that Lucky Cat can't control a guy who has no autonomous thoughts at all. At the moment, when Winter Soldier rushed to Lin Yu, Wanda was also shocked. A red light appeared on her body in an instant. At the same time, Sharon, who had just walked down on the second floor, also noticed this scene. A touch of silver also appeared on her body, and she had already stretched out a hand, Mjolnir on the first floor took off instantly and flew towards Sharon's hand. These two are not careless about protecting Lin Yu. But just when the two were ready to do it, Lin Yu suddenly shouted in excitement, "Don't move, let me come." Lin Yu is so excited. After injecting the perfect version of Extremis, it seemed that the whole world was a lot more peaceful, and I didn't even have the opportunity to try this body's power. And now, the sudden appearance of Winter Soldier is the best opportunity. Lin Yu's eyes are getting brighter. Winter Soldier, the strength is comparable to the Captain of the United States, and there are no big kills. I can fully test my strength on him. In this way, it helps you understand your body better. And there are Wanda and Sharon watching. There is absolutely no problem with their safety. Come on. Lin Yu roared and rushed up, but regarding Lin Yu's behavior, Bucky still has no expression on his face. At the moment, he is a simple killing machine. In a very short time, the two came to a place within reach. Although Lin Yu's combat experience is poor, his physical fitness is not bad at all. The Winter Soldier is decisive and unreserved. The two, one excited, the other indifferent, shot at the same time in an instant. Ding! Winter Soldier Bucky Barnes shot the host. His metal arm hated this behavior and decided to go on strike for a day in protest. The Winter Soldier who was hitting Lin Yu with that metal arm suddenly winged. His arm suddenly dropped. This sudden loss of control made Bucky's body instantly unable to maintain balance. Then, as if tripped over, I fell down next to Lin Yu in an instant. Huh? Lin Yu was taken aback for a moment, also stopped the attack. I want to try my own strength. What will the system mess up? Lin Yu muttered dissatisfied. System, don't mess around, I want to try my strength. At this moment, the Winter Soldier who fell on the ground also had some doubts. With the other hand, he supported the ground and slowly stood up. However, his metal arm is completely out of control. Winter Soldier frowned slightly. But the Winter Soldier who lost an arm still has a cold expression on his face. He raised his other hand, quickly attacked Lin Yu again. Even if he only has one hand, he has to complete his task. Seeing Winter Soldier's stubborn appearance, Lin Yu was delighted. Only one hand is fine, so you can also use one hand to fight him. Lin Yu put his left hand behind him and greeted him. Both of them only use one hand, but it doesn't seem to affect their speed at all. Lin Yu's face also showed excitement again. At the same time, the two shook their fists at each other. Ding! Winter Soldier Bucky Barnes made another shot at the host. His metal arm was completely angry, so he decided to teach this guy who didn't know the heights of the sky and earth, and took the initiative to attack. Boom! Lin Yu's fist has not yet landed on Bucky. I haven't even heard what the system is saying. Bucky's metal arms suddenly violently hit his face with a punch. The power is great. Feels stronger than when he uses it himself. Bucky fell to the ground instantly. This punch directly knocked him out. Lin Yu is also blinded. How do you feel that the elixir potion that I have worked so hard to get is useless at all? With the system, I don't seem to even have a chance to shoot. Do not. Didn't even get a chance to be beaten. At the moment. In the grocery store. Lin Yu stood quietly on the spot, staring at Winter Soldier Bucky who was lying on the ground and seemed to be unconscious. On the stairs on the second floor, Sharon held Mjolnir, the lightning on her body slowly dissipated, and the expression on her face looked like a ghost. At the entrance of the first floor, the red light on Wanda's body also gradually disappeared. She walked to Winter Soldier's side in twos and kicked Winter Soldier's body twice. Really? Not moving at all. There are many weird things happening in the grocery store. And Wanda and Sharon have also experienced a lot. But what happened just now is even more weird than before. A guy who looked like a killer was knocked out by his fist. It's almost unseen, unheard of. At this moment, Sharon also walked down slowly from the second floor. Together with Lin Yu, the three of them stared wide-eyed. It seems that some do not know what to do, but Sharon, the original S.H.I.E.L.D. high-level agent, has a way. Experience. She recruited Roar, Lin Yu and Wanda, and tied the Winter Soldier with a rope. It seems to be ready to come to a torture to extract a confession. Since it is a killer, there must be an employer. Who on earth wants to kill Lin Yu? The two women didn't know. Don't have. Lin Yu is very clear. At this time, if there is no accident, Winter Soldier should be controlled by Hydra. So, whoever wants to kill himself is already Roar's desire to come out. Lin Yu had already guessed the reason why he wanted to kill himself. Obviously, the guy Nick Fury got too close to himself recently, which attracted Hydra's attention. In other words, Hydra wants to deal with the person who can threaten them in advance. Lin Yu squinted his eyes, basically guessing the cause and effect in his heart. After the Battle of New York, S.H.I.E.L.D. should be aware of the degree of danger in this world, so he decided to start an insight project. And this plan is all about making wedding dresses for Hydra. So, right now, the one who doesn't want any variables around Nick Fury is definitely Hydra. The corner of Lin Yu's mouth curled slightly. Pierce, I didn't expect that I hadn't troubled you yet, but you found me first, Lin Yu secretly said in his heart. Could it be that Nick Fury didn't tell him that he has the character of revenge? Originally, Lin Yu also thought about not mixing up the hatred of Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D. But now it seems, Hydra has brought the war to itself. At this moment, Sharon first said, "Boss, how do you deal with this guy? Do you want me to torture a confession, and ask him who is against you?" As a high-level agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., Sharon has naturally learned the ability to torture a confession. Hearing what Sharon said, Lin Yu hadn't answered yet, and Wanda's face was already showing excitement. Severe torture to extract a confession. Sounds great, I want to participate too. Wanda's eyes brightened. Since breaking Killian's arm, Wanda seems to have aroused his potential. The violence in the orphanage resumed. Sharon smiled awkwardly. Extorting a confession by torture is not a simple matter. In S.H.I.E.L.D., Sharon experienced special training. Severe torture to extract a confession requires skill. Even if it is to torture the target, it requires a lot of professional knowledge. How would you extract a confession? What punishment? Sharon looked at Wanda and said with a smile. Me? Wanda asked, pointing to her nose. Sharon nodded. Wanda rolled her eyes and said excitedly, I will break my arm, and I will also break my fingers. Winter Soldier Bucky finally woke up. Although the punch was very heavy, his physical fitness was not overshadowed. As a super soldier who was inoculated with the same serum as Captain Steve of the United States, his physical indicators are much stronger than ordinary people. At the moment, Bucky woke up leisurely. After opening his eyes, his body shook abruptly. He seemed to want to open the rope on his body. But Sharon Tai people's experience is quite rich. After shaking hard twice, Bucky gave up the struggle. After being controlled by his mind, Bucky was very calm. If he can't break free, it means he can't break free. He won't waste any unnecessary energy. He just looked at Lin Yu quietly without saying a word. This look made Sharon frown. Why does this guy look a little bit abnormal in his brain? Sharon took a step forward, and then asked Winter Soldier Bucky, let's go, who sent you here? Bucky didn't move, without blinking his eyes. It's still stiff, it's good for you to say it now, otherwise, you will suffer soon, Sharon threatened. Bucky remained motionless. There was a hint of anger on Sharon's face. She directly raised Mjolnir in her hand, and a small lightning flashed across Mjolnir suddenly. It was directly on Bucky's arm. The lightning on Sharon is very powerful. Although there is only a small electric current, it is not something ordinary people can bear. But Bucky remained motionless. Sharon felt that she seemed to be insulted. A powerful lightning flashed on her body. Countless thunders began to brew. Scared Lin Yu hurriedly stopped Sharon's behavior. This guy, even if Sharon electrocuted him directly, he probably wouldn't say a word. Because, besides completing the task, there is nothing else in his mind. Interrogating him can only be useless, but Lin Yu, who stopped Sharon, smiled slightly. For others, it may be useless. But he has a way that no one else knows. As a true Marvel fan in his previous life, Lin Yu has watched every Marvel movie countless times. I definitely will not let go of the most exciting Captain United States 3 Civil War. Inside, there was a guy named Baron Zemo who used some spells to control Bucky. And those spells Lin Yu vaguely remembered a few. Sharon, do you speak Russian? Lin Yu asked softly. Sharon had some doubts, why Lin Yu would ask about Russian. But she nodded gently. As an elite agent, you will naturally be able to speak some languages of other countries. Although her level of Russian is not very good, it is fine for basic communication. Lin Yu smiled slightly. Then he said, well, let me say a few words, and you repeat them in Russian. Sharon nodded slightly. Lin Yu slowly began to say word by word, desire. Sharon followed in Russian. Desire. Lin Yu, Rusty. Sharon. Rusty. Suddenly, Winter Soldier had some reactions. There was a trace of pain on his face, as if these two words reminded him of something. Lin Yu. 17. Sharon. 17. The reaction on Winter Soldier's face grew louder. Lin Yu. Dawn. Sharon. Dawn. With the appearance of these words, Winter Soldier's eyes began to turn red. The panting voice also began to thicken. Sharon seems to understand the meaning of these words, Lin Yu said. She has been exposed to such knowledge. It seems that some people whose brains have been brainwashed by special means can only wake them up with some specific words. Unexpectedly, Lin Yu actually knew these words. Sharon looked at Lin Yu excitedly. If you can say all these words, this guy will be controlled by the person who said these words. Then, he can tell everything he knows, but... When Sharon looked at Lin Yu, she found that Lin Yu had stopped. Boss, what else? There should be more than these words, Sharon asked suspiciously. At this time, Lin Yu suddenly gave a bitter smile and replied, "No, I know so much, but I forgot the rest." Hearing Lin Yu's words, Sharon's face also showed a wry smile. If you only know this, it is probably not useful. This kind of brainwashed guy has layers of iron gates in his brain. And these words are the key to every iron gate. Sharon doesn't know how many levels of iron gates are. But there will definitely not be only these 4. And opening only the 4-layer iron gate would have little effect on his consciousness. He will only react slightly. Lin Yu also scratched his head. His face was embarrassed. Things in the last life, remembering these 4 words is not bad. There was also a trace of disappointment on Wanda's face. She is very curious about this weird thing. But I didn't expect it. It was like solving a puzzle, half of the solution, it couldn't be solved. And at this moment, none of the 3 people noticed behind him. The eyes of the lucky cat suddenly lit up, although they didn't fully open the remaining iron doors in Bucky's brain. But for Lucky Cat, it is enough. Enough for it to pass through the remaining iron gates and reach the depths of Bucky's brain. It doesn't matter, in fact, I already know who sent him to kill me. Let's think about how to get revenge on him. Get revenge, as soon as possible, Lin Yu said lightly. However, just when everyone gave up asking what to ask from Bucky, suddenly there was a trace of struggle on Bucky's face. It seems, something is wrong. Let go of me, I want to shop, Bucky's voice was hoarse. But this sentence reached the ears of the 3 clearly. What the hell? Shopping? Wanda and Sharon looked at Bucky, and then at Lin Yu. They seemed a little confused. What's the situation? A killer whose mind is controlled, actually wants to shop. Among the 3, only Lin Yu turned his head quietly, glanced at the tireless Lucky Cat, and gave it a thumbs up from behind. Really? Lucky Cat is still amazing. Lin Yu smiled, and then said to Sharon and Wanda, "Untie him. I want to see what he wants to buy." Lin Yu waved his hand and said excitedly, "But the only thing that makes Lin Yu a little confused is, will this guy have money? Bucky naturally has no money. Not even a tiny bit of valuables. If you have to count, it seems that only his arm can sell scrap iron. But this arm is really important to Bucky. But it is completely useless for others. Normal people who would chop off their arms and then install a metal arm. Although that metal arm is indeed very powerful. But it wouldn't be the price of cutting off one's arm to get it. As for Lin Yu, if you want to use it, you can't use it. Because of extremists, even if his arm is cut off, it will grow out immediately. Dispelling the idea of removing Bucky's arm, Lin Yu simply put the guy back. Bucky is of great use to Lin Yu, in addition. This can't be regarded as letting the tiger go back to the mountain. After all, with Lin Yu's current power, a small Bucky really doesn't care about it. Even if he was let go, there was no threat. The situation just now is the best example. After the system turned on negative mutation ability, it became more and more perverted. Lin Yu didn't even know how strong he was after integrating extremists. Because there is no way to experiment, those who took action on oneself had long been clearly educated by the system. Bucky was kicked out of the grocery store, 23. Now, his mind has become a mess. The task of killing Lin Yu, the influence of Lin Yu's just a few words on him, and the lucky cat who took advantage of the emptiness made him want to shop. 3 thoughts drove him crazy. However, in the end Bucky returned to Hydra's secret base the same way. Because there is an ultimate command in his brain. That is, when there is a problem, it will return to the base to reset the order. But Bucky, whose head was extremely confused, didn't notice it when he walked into the secret base of Hydra. In the grass not far away, a fat husky is peeping at Bucky's whereabouts with its green eyes. But Erha didn't follow along. Although with its current ability, it is not difficult to take over this Hydra base. But the order Lin Yu gave it was just to track it and see where the enemy was. Erha is very obedient. Although I haven't opened meat for a long time recently. However, for Lin Yu's order, it dare not violate the least bit. Erha, who has mutated because of the system, has a natural fear and awe of Lin Yu in his heart. Definitely. This kind of awe, Wanda and Sharon also have. But unlike Erha, the awe in their hearts seems to have turned into some other emotions. After half an hour, in the secret base of Hydra, Winter Soldier Bucky is sitting quietly on a chair in a secret room. In front of him, a member of Hydra is conducting mission situation understanding and ordering reset work for him. At the same time, on the corner of this secret room, there are several cameras. In a more secret room, Pierce, the Minister of the World Security Council, is quietly watching the surveillance picture. This secret room was prepared for him alone. Here, there are separate passages for entry and exit, and there will be no contact with any ordinary Hydra members in the base. However, it is possible to give orders from here. At the moment, when Winter Soldier Bucky came back, his face was already smiling. Hydra, it has taken a long time to prepare. At the moment, S.H.I.E.L.D. has been almost completely occupied by Hydra. Except for a few core agents under Nick Fury, almost all others have become Hydra people. Pierce is ready to start the next step. Now. It seems that the only variable is this consultant Lin, who seems to have a good relationship with Nick Fury. After processing this consultant, Hydra will start the next step. At the moment, Pierce sat quietly on the sofa, watching Winter Soldier Bucky's report. In the secret room where Bucky is, the Hydra member began to say those specific words used to control Bucky. Desire. Rust. 17. Dawn. Stove. 9. Kindness. Go home. Train. Soldiers. Every time you say a word, you can feel Bucky's brain struggling to resist. But when these words were finished, his eyes immediately calmed down. His sanity recovered some, but it's just sane. His memory only received the task to the present. There is no previous memory. This is the most important means for Hydra to control Winter Soldier. As long as his memory is erased at any time, he will always be the obedient Winter Soldier. At the moment, standing in front of Bucky, Hydra members started a routine questioning. Soldier, report the results and process of this mission. According to previous experience, when asked about Bucky's mission, he will answer every detail clearly. These details will be recorded by Hydra, but today's situation seems a bit special. When the Hydra member asked about Bucky's mission, there was a sudden look of pain on Bucky's face. Task, me, my task, grocery store, Lin Yu, Bucky said vaguely. It seems that his head is a little messy. These words he said did not even form a sentence. It's completely different from before. There seems to be something unexpected. Soldier, report the results of this operation, Hydra members asked sharply again. At this moment, Bucky finally calmed down a bit. At the same time, his appearance seemed to recall something. This task, no. I want to shop, I haven't shopped yet. I need money, I want to go shopping. Suddenly, Bucky yelled excitedly. His body also began to tremble violently. Both eyeballs also began to congestion. This scene frightened the Hydra member in front of Bucky. He is responsible for Bucky's task assignment and recording for many years, but he has never seen such a violent reaction from Bucky. But he heard what Bucky said. But what is shopping? What money do you want? The Hydra member was stunned. If an ordinary person, or a child of an ordinary family, said such things, it would be normal. But Bucky is a puppet soldier who has no ideas of his own but only knows how to complete the mission. When did he actually have the idea of AA shopping? Isn't this nonsense? %ZSG. Where is the problem? Soldier, calm down and tell me what your mission is, Hydra members said loudly again. He wanted to see if Bucky still remembered his mission. However, after listening to his words, it seemed to Bucky that something was finally certain in his mind. My mission, shopping. In another secret room. Pierce, sitting in front of the video surveillance camera, suddenly stood up from the sofa. His face suddenly became a little solemn. Shopping? Bucky's task is to kill Lin Yu in the grocery store. But why has it become shopping now? As the leader of Hydra, Pierce knows Bucky, the Winter Soldier, very well. Therefore, he also knew that the Winter Soldier had never made any mistakes. This weird situation now appears for the first time in decades. Seeing Bucky, who kept repeating the word shopping in the video, Pierce's face became more and more ugly. The situation of the task is not as optimistic as I thought. This can no longer be described as simply not optimistic. Pierce finally decided not to waste his energy on Lin Yu and his weird grocery store. Now, Hydra is already on the line and has to be sent. Although Lin Yu is a big variable, it does not necessarily hinder the implementation of the insight plan. Before I wanted to kill Lin Yu, it was just Pierce who wanted to completely isolate Nick Fury. If you can't kill Lin Yu, all 3 space carriers must be launched. This is Hydra's biggest task now. But there is still a trace of paper leakage in the insight plan. Nick Fury, the old fox, finally found a hint. He even hired some mercenaries and grabbed one of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s own ships. Then, they also dispatched the captain of the United States and Natasha Romanoff, with a S.H.I.E.L.D. task force, to rescue the ship and the S.H.I.E.L.D. hostages on board. Directed a wonderful drama with one hand, in this big show. Natasha Romanoff picked up what he was good at. Played another identity. During the mission, some confidential information on the ship was obtained for Nick Fury. And those confidential information is exactly Hydra's plan. Pierce panicked completely, although there is strong encryption on the data. But Nick Fury may know the content of those materials sooner or later. Sooner or later, he will find someone to crack those encrypted messages. By the time, all Hydra's plans are completely exposed. And still have a question. Although the encrypted information has not been cracked, Nick Fury has become alert. He also specifically found Pierce, explaining that he wanted to stop the insight plan first. After hearing Nick Fury's words, Pierce couldn't help it. If the insight program stops, then Hydra will have no chance. In order to allow the 3 space carriers to fly to the skies smoothly, Pierce decided, get ahead, get rid of the old friend Nick Fury. Hydra's execution is quite strong. Pierce gave an order, and the entire Hydra took action. And this time, they have almost made a desperate move. I'm not going to hide my identity anymore. Whether it is the Hydra members within S.H.I.E.L.D. or the Hydra members of other police stations and other systems, all are dispatched. Strictly plan. When Nick Fury went out to do errands, he was driven into a desperate situation. But they still underestimated the old fox Nick Fury. After dozens of Hydra elites were dispatched to chase and intercept, and various powerful weapons were used, Nick Fury still escaped in full view. But Nick Fury was also seriously injured. In the secret base of Hydra, Pierce once again convened all the Hydra executives. Recently, Hydra has gathered a little bit more frequently. It is completely different from the previous low-key style. But it also proved that Hydra is now carrying out an extremely terrifying plan. Conference table. Pierce's face was sullen and uncertain. The high-level Hydra present here also bowed their heads and said nothing. They also knew that this hunt for Nick Fury was really a failure. Many secret members of Hydra have been exposed. But that still let Nick Fury escape. This is a big hidden danger. Nick Fury's energy is still great. If we don't cut the grass and remove the roots, I'm afraid there will be great trouble. After a few minutes, Pierce finally arranged in a low voice, Nick Fury must die, and he must not be allowed to slow down. Immediately afterwards, he looked at a high-level Hydra member and asked, find out where he fled. The Hydra member looked ugly, and said in a deep voice, it is basically certain that there are some bloodstains in the sewer where Nick Fury escaped. He should be walking towards 58th Avenue in Manhattan. Hearing the words 58th Avenue in Manhattan, Pierce's face became even more ugly. For this name, Pierce is very familiar. Isn't this the location of Lin Yu's grocery store? Really? It was a great mistake not to get rid of Lin Yu, the consultant, in time. Sent someone to follow up? Pierce asked again. The Hydra member nodded and said, people have been sent, but they have not been ordered to forcibly attack the grocery store. This Hydra member has obviously also heard of Lin Yu's weirdness. I also know that Winter Soldier suffered some weird injuries in that grocery store. Although Winter Soldier is now back to normal and able to perform tasks, the word shopping will often appear in his mouth. It seems that the influence of the grocery store on him has not disappeared. Pierce thought a little. Then he said, Nick Fury must be removed. Now is the most critical moment. Even if it is all exposed, it will not hesitate. Let all the armed personnel be dispatched, and in the early morning of this night, blow up that grocery store for me. Immediately afterwards, Pierce seemed to have thought of something again. Slowly said, don't send the Winter Soldier. That place seems to have a great influence on him. The Hydra members below all nodded in agreement. Okay. Then, in the early hours of tonight, start acting. This time, you can only succeed and not fail. Pierce waved his hand and the meeting ended. The entire Hydra, all acted. Whether it is the elites hiding in the dark or the spy doors that have joined various official departments, they are all dispatched today. Just for one goal. Kill Nick Fury, night. 58th Avenue in Manhattan. Lin Yu in front of the grocery store. A figure of Gigi Chongchong suddenly appeared here. He wears a black coat and his skin is darker, so it is almost difficult to find his whereabouts in this dark night. If you look closely, you can see that he wears a blindfold over his eyes. It seems that after escaping for an afternoon, I finally came to Nick Fury in front of Lin Yu's grocery store. Now, Nick Fury looks extremely miserable. Multiple injuries on the body. But, compared to his physical injury, Nick Fury's biggest problem now is that he doesn't know who to trust anymore. The only one I can believe is probably only the few subordinates closest to him. But, they may not be able to protect themselves now. After Nick Fury thought about it, there was only one place that seemed to be able to accommodate himself. That is, Lin Yu's grocery store. He reached out tremblingly and knocked on the door of Lin Yu's grocery store. But, there seems to be no reaction inside. Nick Fury knew that Lin Yu had a dog. Why the dog didn't respond? Shouldn't a dog's ears be very sensitive? Nick Fury continued to knock on the door of the grocery store anxiously. The more you knock, the louder the sound. In his heart, he was very worried. Because he knew that the person who was chasing him was probably on the road. If you don't enter Lin Yu's grocery store quickly, you will become more and more dangerous. Nick Fury himself does not have those weird abilities. His body is just an ordinary person, but it's useless to be anxious. Inside the gate, there seemed to be no movement. 2 minutes later, when Nick Fury's mentality is about to explode, the garage door next to the grocery store suddenly opened. Nick Fury was taken aback for a moment. What's the situation? Why did the garage door open? That's better than nowhere to go. Nick Fury could only drag his severely injured body and limped into the garage next to Lin Yu's grocery store. Nick Fury just walked into the garage with his front foot. The garage door slowly closed again. It's weird. But now Nick Fury has no retreat. He can only look at the garage by himself. There is no one in the garage. Only Lin Yu's Camaro, quietly parked in it. Fortunately, there is a small door in the garage, which can also lead into the grocery store. And, most importantly, this little door is unlocked. Nick Fury's heart instantly became excited. He stretched out his hand and was about to open the door and walk into the grocery store. However, at the moment, a voice suddenly appeared in the garage. I advise you, it's better not to walk in without permission. The Camaro light in the garage suddenly turned on. An electronic synthesis sound rang in the garage. Hearing this sound, Nick Fury was shocked. How can there be anyone in this garage? Impossible. I have already checked it clearly. No one at all. Where did this voice come from? At this moment, Nick Fury's gaze finally gathered again on the bright yellow Camaro in front of him. He suddenly recalled that it seemed that the car had spoken during the battle between Tony and Obadiah Stan. Could it be? What did it say just now? Such a humanized sentence, is it possible that it has its own thought? You can talk? Nick Fury asked weakly. However, at the moment, Bumblebee suddenly started shapeshifting. Its body began to change wildly. In a few seconds, he changed from a car to a sci-fi Autobot. Although Bumblebee is a car, it does have its own thoughts. Just like the Autobots in the shapeshifting King Kong movie. The only difference from those shapeshifting King Kong is that it doesn't have much memory. So, Bumblebee usually doesn't talk much. Most of the time, he was quietly observing Lin Yu's family and the pedestrians passing by. In constantly learning, its thinking is constantly improving. And at the moment, he took the initiative to let Nick Fury in. Is entirely his own idea, because he has met Nick Fury many times. And every time, the host Lin Yu smiled when he saw Nick Fury. Therefore, Bumblebee guessed that his owner and this guy should be friends. But when Nick Fury wanted to break into the grocery store without Lin Yu's consent, he was stopped by Bumblebee. Because it does not feel that it has the right to let a person into the grocery store without the consent of the owner. And Bumblebee felt, Erha, it shouldn't be as gentle as you are. If Nick Fury forcibly breaks in, I'm afraid Erha will definitely have a nice meal. Therefore, the Hornet stopped Nick Fury from exporting. At the moment, seeing Bumblebee's shapeshifting so close, Nick Fury was stunned. Bumblebee is too powerful, full of science fiction. The shapeshifting process is also quite handsome. If you own such a car, then the enemy might not be your opponent. In Nick Fury's heart, he couldn't help but start to envy Lin Yu. But it's just a moment of envy. His main problem now is to meet Lin Yu and then explain his situation to him. He felt that according to his relationship with Lin Yu, he should not die. At the very least, I wouldn't shut myself out. After all, I helped Lin Yu a lot before, and he was responsive. Why can't you go in? Nick Fury said to the Hornet, who was more than twice his height. Bumblebee said. If you break in without authorization, Erha will probably eat you in one bite, so you should wait for my master to agree before you go in. Hearing what Bumblebee said, Nick Fury realized that he was indeed reckless just now. Lin Yu's husky really likes to eat people. If you were eaten by mistake, you would be really unlucky. But, I just knocked on the door for a long time. Why there is no reaction inside? Nick Fury said anxiously. He is now like a frightened bird. I was almost certain in my heart that the enemy would definitely chase him. See Lin Yu as soon as possible, and then explain to him the situation is the most urgent thing. Hearing Nick Fury's words, Bumblebee showed a humane expression, and a wry smile appeared on his face. Erha is too fat now, usually lacks exercise, sleeps and snores. It is normal not to hear you knocking on the door. As for my master, he should be too tired. There was a silent expression on Nick Fury's face. Too tired? This Autobot is really good. This can be guessed. Then what should I do? I'm looking for him in a hurry, Nick Fury said weakly. When Bumblebee took a look, Nick Fury did seem to be anxious. And the injuries on his body are indeed very serious. He thought for a moment, and then seemed to have made a decision. Forget it. Let me call the master for you and ask, Bumblebee said lightly. Then, the voice of a phone call rang in the garage. Beep beep. Nick Fury was stunned. This car is simply perfect. Not only can you talk to people, but you can even make phone calls. God. 10 seconds later, on the phone, Lin Yu's lazy voice suddenly came. Hey, who? Boss, it's me, Bumblebee. Boss, there is a one-eyed dragon who wants to see you, now in the garage. Boss, he seems to be anxious. Do you want to let him in? Lin Yu was a little confused. This is in the middle of the night. It's fine for Bumblebee to call himself. And Nick Fury is still next to it? What the hell? It took Lin Yu more than 10 seconds to gradually recover from the shock. At this moment, on the phone, Lin Yu's voice came again. Sharon, get dressed and go to the garage to pick up the one-eyed dragon. Hearing this, Nick Fury's face went dark, but next, before Bumblebee hangs up, some strange sounds came from inside. Someone seems to be yawning and getting dressed. Nick Fury frowned suddenly. How does this feel? It's a bit wrong. Why is it so late? Lin Yu tells Sharon to dress. No, why can I hear the sound of wearing clothes on the phone? How close is this call to the person wearing the clothes? Shaw, didn't you arrange it for Lin Yu's assistant? Nick Fury's face suddenly changed from black to purple. It seems that the mentality is about to explode. I clearly arranged for Lin Yu to be an assistant, not the arranged girlfriend. How could it develop so fast? Nick Fury never expected that he would become a matchmaker by accident. But, at this moment, something that made Nick Fury even more collapsed appeared. On the phone, there was another voice, and it was the voice of a woman. Brother, who is it so late? Is that person sick? Good things to bother us. Nick Fury was completely stunned. This. What's happening here? This grocery store seems a bit abnormal. He even had the idea of AA wanting to escape now. Lin Yu is too weird. How does that voice sound like the voice of his sister Wanda? Oh no, it seems like a god sister. Nick Fury finally remembered. It seems that she is indeed a goddess, and she is not related by blood. But even if Ida's a goddamn sister, Ida's too. Nick Fury felt that his worldview was about to collapse. But, it's not over yet. What Nick Fury never expected was that there was another voice on the phone. Wow, finally. Bumblebee seemed to realize that it seemed a bit embarrassing. Its EQ is not high after all. Haven't learned it in place yet. Just seeing from Nick Fury's expression, it seems something is not quite right. Bumblebee hung up the phone in a hurry. Originally, he thought the boss would hang up first. Grocery store on the second floor, in front of a brand new mahjong table. Sharon got up reluctantly, put on a coat, and walked towards the first floor. Although it seems reluctant, but there was a hint of joy on his face. In this round, her cards were not so good. It's a good time to take the opportunity to leave. At this moment, Wanda also seemed a little sleepy. Yawned. Then he looked at the card game on the table, and said fiercely to Erha, who was also sitting at the mahjong table. Dogsy, don't mess with my cards when I'm away, don't peek, continue tomorrow. Wow, barking.